friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
First Realty Group is first in community and school support. They love Giles County. They love Giles County students, and they love Giles County's athletes. For First Realty Group, connecting buyers and sellers goes hand in hand with supporting their neighbors, schools, teachers, local businesses, and organizations. First Realty Group also loves putting sold signs on their clients' properties. Let their friendly and knowledgeable agents help you get your own sold sign. Call 363-2644 and visit them at frg1.com.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. Regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. Visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Haney Realty and Property Management considers it a privilege to help you find the right deal. Hi, this is Daniel Haney. Are you listing, selling, buying, renting, or looking for property management? Let Haney Realty and Property Management create the plan that fits your needs. Our agents bring diverse experience and knowledge of Giles County, Middle Tennessee, and North Alabama. We offer a friendly, professional, and creative approach to your specific needs. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Call 347-9150 and find our listings at HaneyRealtyPM.com.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer. Welcome in, everybody. Scott Stewart here along with Wade Neely. And we're about ready to get started for tonight's election coverage. Have a significant election, not quite as big of a ballot as we had back in August, but we're back here at Kitchen 218. Just want to remind everybody that's where we are. If you want to come down and watch the events as they unfold tonight, we'll be getting the election results from the Giles County Election Commission right here on my hot little computer. That'll be coming up. Welcome in, Wade. Uh-oh. Got the wrong mic there, Wade. Sorry.
There we go. Good to be with you, Scott, man. And yet again, we're here at Kitchen 218. Gracious host, as always. We host our Bobcat Football Coaches Show here every Wednesday. We've hosted our August election coverage here upstairs at Venue 220. Tonight we're downstairs. Got a good little crowd on hand. I'm excited for this evening.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, too. It's been a long election season going all the way back to, March, I guess. Here in Giles County, we went through the whole election season for August, and now we've moved into what locally is considered not quite as a big of an election situation because obviously there's not as many candidates. But nationally, it is an extremely important election.
Right.
Talking about the control of our federal government, we obviously know who the president's going to be. At least we're not electing a president this time, but we're electing a lot of congressmen, a lot of senators, and for the legislative side of our government. So that's a big, important thing. We've had a few state races. We had some amendments that we'll talk about, and just a lot of almost like nationally and local, statewide, it's kind of like cleaning up. It's almost like little cleanup elections, but. Here in Pulaski, a very important election. We'll talk about it in detail here in just a few minutes, where we're electing a mayor, going to be a brand-new mayor, regardless of who's elected. And we got 3 alderman seat up for election. One of them we know is not going to return, so we know we're going to have at least one new alderman here in Pulaski. And for the direction of our city going forward for the next 4 years, and that in Ardmore, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. It could get overlooked when you think, there's only a few measures, elections on the ballot, but there's some critical ones. And one thing that you kind of touched on that jumped right out at me, we are going to get a brand new mayor for the first time in over a decade. And so the city of Pulaski in the direction of that office is going to totally change tonight, regardless of who wins.
Yep.
Got some alderman seats up for grabs for sure, and but it's not just Pulaski. There's some other races locally that are going to be exciting as well.
Yeah, Ardmore, and there's one countywide issue on the ballot, and that was a referendum for liquor by the drink in the county. I'll talk about all this stuff in a little bit more detail as we move on. Let me just go ahead and give you all a little. I've been doing this for a few years.
Yeah.
Learned with my friend Ronnie Rose. Anytime I do election coverage, I want to throw the shout out to my late great friend Ronnie Rose, because I really learned a lot of what we do every election season. Learned as far as the broadcasting goes, learned it from Ronnie. So I always want to throw that love out to him and everything that he did for me, setting me up to where we're able to do this kind of stuff. So I say that to say this, that the polls closed at 7. We get the emails from the election commission as soon as they send them out. We're on the email list.
Mm-hmm.
They will send out each precinct. We'll talk about the precincts and the districts as we go along. There's 14 districts. There's 7 precincts. We today are going to be worried about 5 precincts, really, because most of what we're concerned about are the city of Pulaski elections and the Ardmore election. City of Pulaski has 4 precincts. Ardmore has, if I'm not mistaken, the 1. Now, there are probably 5 or 6, maybe Ardmore people that vote in the Prospect District. And to be honest with you, in the city of Pulaski, if you live in the county and own property, you can still vote in the city of Pulaski.
Yeah.
So there'll be some votes scattered out throughout the county. Unless it's really tight, those votes won't. Those won't swing the election one way or another. Now, if it's a really tight election, we may have to hang in for some of those. But our intention tonight is that once we start getting the returns from the election commission, I figure we'll probably get those within the next 15 to 30 minutes, hopefully. And then as that comes in, we'll give you that. Carrie's back at back at headquarters. She's tallying them all up, so I don't have to try to do all this and do
Thank goodness
and
for
do
all of
math
us.
because y'all don't want to see me taking my shoes and socks off to start counting. But so yeah, I figure within the next 15, 30 minutes we'll start getting that. Once we know what's going to happen in these city elections.
Yeah.
We'll shut it down because you can watch what's happening federally all over the place. You don't need us. As much as I know you'd love to watch me and wait.
Yeah,
for
we
the rest of the
appreciate
night.
that,
Yeah.
but yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that'll be the deal there. And we're gonna. If there are any candidates watching, we've talked. I know we've talked to our local mayor candidates here, and any of the candidates that are here that want to come and speak to us as once we get to a place where we kind of know what the results are. Well, we'll be glad to have you come on with us and talk for a few minutes. So that's the open invitation to anybody out there.
Yep, and the one thing that you kind of touched on that registered with me is we were up here, that hot August night, and we were just waiting and waiting and waiting. And you called it, though. You said they will take a while to come in, but once these results start to trickle in, bam, bam, bam. And sure enough, they came flying in, they came flooding in. And we were doing the best we could to keep our head above water that night. But
like I said, I've done it a few times. I know how it works. It works. It's the same thing every time. It's wait, and then okay, it's time to go. So and we, everything's over with. So I know that's what's going to happen tonight. Not everything's a little less tonight. It's not as crazy. It won't be as crazy when they come in. It won't take. I don't think it'll take as long to get results. So we started a little earlier tonight than we did last time because I'm hoping that we will be able to wrap this up hopefully in a couple of hours. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you know somebody that wants to find out what's going on, share them. We're on the Pulaski Citizen YouTube channel, as you can tell here. And all these election results in detail will be in the Pulaski Citizen on PulaskiCitizen.com coming up this week. And then next week's newspaper will not be in this week's newspaper because that puppy's already gone to the press. So it will not be in this week's newspaper. It will be on the website pretty quick. And obviously you can watch it here live, and then we'll also have it in the paper next week. So why don't we take just a quick break, get ourselves figuring out what we're going to do next. We'll go over the ballot next coming up here in just a minute. Let's take a break here, and we'll be back in just a few minutes on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
First Realty Group is first in community and school support. They love Giles County. They love Giles County students, and they love Giles County's athletes. For First Realty Group, connecting buyers and sellers goes hand in hand with supporting their neighbors, schools, teachers, local businesses, and organizations. First Realty Group also loves putting sold signs on their clients' properties. Let their friendly and knowledgeable agents help you get your own sold sign. Call 363-2644 and visit them at frg1.com.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
All right, that's the music we got, man. That's some pretty
got me fired up, Scott Stewart.
And I'm telling you, I didn't know I had that off in there. That's pretty good. So welcome back to the Pulaski Citizen Live election night coverage here in Kitchen 218, wonderful and beautiful Kitchen 218. Want to thank our before we get going any further, we want to thank Sarah. She's been here helping us. If you tuned into the very beginning of this, you got to see.
She made a cameo.
She made a cameo. And we also want to thank Tiffany and Carter Mack. They were here helping us set up, and they went on their way. And thank everybody with the Pulaski Citizen Live crew, the Pulaski Citizen crew. All of us, takes all of us to get it done. So and obviously thank you guys for tuning in and watching us as we go over the election results tonight. So I thought what we'd start off with, and we both got our sheets here so we can follow along together. Go over the ballot. Now, I'm not going to go over it exactly in the order that it was in, but if you went today and you realized they told me it was 9 pages when I got there the other day, and I'm like, what is the 9 pages? Why are there 9 pages? Well, half of those pages was one of these statewide amendments. It took forever to read it, right? So we'll just start with the constitutional amendments while we're at it. So on this ballot was constitutional amendments, 4 of them. Number 1 was an amendment that would add a new section to Article 2 of the Tennessee Constitution to make it illegal for any person, corporation, association, or the state or its political subdivisions to deny or attempt to deny employment to any person because of the person's membership in, affiliation with, resignation from, or refusal to join or affiliate with any labor union or employee organization. So basically, your union status cannot be used against you in any way. So the question there was, is it unlawful for any person, corporation, association, or this state or its political subdivisions to deny or to attempt to deny employment to any person by the reason of the person's membership in, affiliation with, resignation from, or refusal to join or affiliate with any labor union or employee organization. So if you voted yes or no on that, basically would depend on how you felt about using union membership to determine whether somebody can work for a company.
Yeah, and the way I understand it, essentially just that makes it unlawful to hold, you're exactly right, the status
right.
Or how you feel essentially against you.
Either way.
Upon getting hired, then you're free to make your own choice, but
exactly.
They can't hold that against you. So kind of straightforward. That was kind of one of the easier ones.
The long one, I'm not going
to
read all this long one. I'm just going to read the synopsis at the end of it. But this was the constitutional amendment that read the section shall not apply, that basically Article 2, Section 26 of the Constitution be amended by adding the language that says this section shall not apply with regard to the Speaker of the Senate or the Speaker of the House of Representatives temporarily discharging the powers and duties of the office of Governor and acting Governor under Article 3, Section 12. It basically, I think this was all about, I think back in COVID, there was some issues as to far as who would be presiding or how the powers would be discharged, and I think that's what this constitutional amendment wrapped up. If you took time to read that, congratulations. And I did not read all of it.
I'm just going to say I exhausted nearly my entire lunch break reading over that one, and I didn't get into the straight nitty-gritty. But, man, that is a lengthy. Yes. I think it was 2.5 pages on the actual machine. So you had to hit next a couple times just to get to the end to decide whether or not to vote yes or no right there.
That was one of the better books I read that day.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
Just telling you, it was long. So that was it. Constitutional Amendment number 2. Constitutional Amendment number 3 basically dealt with slavery and changing the words in the Constitution to deal basically deleting some of the language in there and replacing it with this language that says slavery and involuntary servitude are forever prohibited. Nothing in this section shall prohibit an inmate from working when an inmate has been duly convicted of a crime. Apparently there was still some language in our state constitution that allowed for maybe indentured servitude of some kind, and they basically took that out. And that's what that one was about. Constitutional Amendment number 4 deleted Article 9, Section 1 of the Constitution, which prohibits ministers of the gospel and priests of any denomination from holding a seat in either house of the legislature, which I thought, I couldn't even believe that was in there, but it is. And it was in the Constitution that it basically your preacher couldn't serve in the state legislature. And so that's what that was about, basically making it where they can. And so if you depend on, and we were asked to vote yes or no on all of those.
Yeah, and reading over these both this morning at the ballot and tonight, all four of them, kind of like you touched on in our opening segment, really just kind of tidying up some loose loopholes and some odds and ends. Obviously, number 3 being a big one that I think everybody would agree should be taken care of sooner than later. Unfortunate that it hadn't been. But, yes, all four kind of tidying up. There weren't really any major sweeping issues. It was just more about kind of tightening that language
tweaking
up.
Everything
right.
up. So that was our constitutional amendments. That's what we all had that on every one of our ballots. Looking at the governor's race, Bill Lee, the incumbent Republican, Jason Brantley Martin was the Democrat nominee, and then several independents: Constance M. Every, John Gentry, Basil Marceau, Charles Van Morgan, Alfred O'Neill, Deborah Rouse, and Michael E. Scantlin, also and Ricky Tyler. And did you just tell me that they've already declared Lee the winner? Is that right?
Let me get you that for sure.
Okay.
I want to say that was WKRN was reporting that Bill Lee will win re-election. That is already being called for by WKRN out of Nashville.
Okay, so that is your and I don't think anybody's surprised by that, but Bill Lee will most likely landslide his way back into office for his second term. As far as our state legislature goes, Clay Doggett, our own man here in Giles County, Clay Doggett, our state representative, is running unopposed, so he will win re-election as a Republican Party nominee. And then we also had the U.S. House of Representatives, our congressman. A little bit different here. We'll talk a little bit more about it in detail. I've got that written down, but we have moved into District 4. Our candidates were Republican incumbent Scott DesJarlais, Democratic nominee Wayne Steele, and then the independent candidates were Clyde Bitson, Theron Chandler, David Layton Jones, Joseph Magire, I guess is what that is. I didn't even look at that before I got going. I should have. And then Mike Winton. So those were your state representative. As I said, we'll get into a little bit more detail about that as we move on and talk a little bit more about why we're going to have a different congressman. And then also on there, the only countywide referendum that was on the ballot was the liquor by the drink referendum that was for the county. Talk a little bit more about that. That is just in the county, not inside the city limits. And you were either for the legal sale of alcohol beverages for consumption in Giles County or against it. And that was the only countywide issue that we had on the ballot. Now, for our city elections, the city of Pulaski, we had for mayor John Amlander, J.J. Brinley, and Larry Worsham. You watched our debates. You saw these three guys up on the stage. All of them did a great job of telling you what they wanted to do. And those three gentlemen were our choices for mayor of Pulaski. They were replacing Pat Ford, who's not running for election. For the city of for the aldermen, which they're and just a little civics lesson for the people of Pulaski.
Preach, preacher.
Our city of Pulaski has 7 members on the board of mayor and aldermen. There are 6 at-large aldermen and then a mayor. So every 2 years we elect 3 aldermen, and then the next 2 years we elect a mayor and 3 aldermen. That's how that works. So, but they all have equal voting rights, including the mayor. A lot of boards like that, the mayor may not vote unless there's a tie. But on the city of Pulaski, the mayor has an equal vote with everybody else. So there are 3 spots open on this election, and 6 people trying to get those spots. So this has been a pretty contested race. The candidates on the ballot were since the polls are closed now. Incumbent Jerry Bryant, Tony Gentry, Tammy Mathis, incumbent Pat Miles, and Janice Marks Tucker, along with Tasha D. Williams. And so those were the 6 people running for these 3 spots. That'll be that, these 2 races, the mayor race and the alderman race in Pulaski, will be 2 of the main things that we're watching for tonight, is to see. That's really the main reason that we're here doing this, is for that. In the city of Ardmore, same thing as Pulaski, just to be honest with you.
Yep.
1 mayor, they got the alderman. They're electing 3 aldermen. They've got 3 candidates for 3 alderman seats. Guess what? These three guys, I'm going to read your name in a minute.
Makes it easy.
They're going to be your aldermen. As far as mayor goes, you got Wayne Harville running. He is an alderman right now, and he's running for mayor. Mike Magnuson, who is the incumbent mayor, and Jonathan Lee Peters is also running in that race. Your three aldermen for the city of Ardmore are going to be Jason Sherman, Spencer Smith, and Joe Stagner. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about those guys here in just a minute. And before we take this break, I think we'll take another break here in just a minute. Before we do, I'd like to go ahead and maybe run down what Giles County's electoral looks like, our districts, right? This is all, by the way, there's nothing that I'm going to tell you today, barely anything, that you couldn't have read or known about if you had a subscription to the Pulaski Citizen or PulaskiCitizen.com.
Yep.
Everything that I just read from was in the Pulaski Citizen last week before the election. So, and this that I'm reading too, and most of what I'm going to read, and most of what we're going to go over in a minute, every bit of it pretty much been in Pulaski Citizen, PulaskiCitizen.com. So if you really want to know what you're voting for, get a subscription to the newspaper. I mean, it's pretty simple. So Giles County is made up of 7 voting districts, 1 through 7, and you'll know where those districts are by the precincts pretty much. The District 1 is in southern Giles County, mostly southeastern Giles County. It's there's Precinct A, which is Ardmore, and Precinct B, which is in Prospect. District 2 is southwest Giles County. Your districts are Minor Hill, and then the airport. That's where you vote, and those are the 2 places you vote in District 2, depending on where you live. District 3, pretty much west and north Giles County. Your precincts are the Richland Trace Market. Everybody knows where that is, and the Campbellsville UMC Fellowship Hall, which is in Campbellsville. District 4 is kind of more northeast Giles County. That is Linville Precinct A and Oddfellows Hall out off of Pigeon Roost. Oddfellows Hall Church of Christ out there is Precinct B. District 5 is the biggest district in Giles County. It wraps around Pulaski. It starts on the north end of the county, north end of Pulaski, and it wraps all the way around the east side of Pulaski down to the south side. So, like, there are people on Kings Mountain that vote in District 5, and there are people on Hicks Cut Road that vote in District 5. Huge. And everything in and around that. So, those precincts are TCAT, and the other precinct is the Agri Park. District 6 here in Pulaski, it's mostly North Pulaski. Basically, it's not exactly, but 64 is kind of the rough
tentative,
spot. UT Southern, Colonial Hall is Precinct A. Precinct B is Bridgeforth Middle School. And then finally, District 7 is mostly south of 64 for the most part. And those precincts are Giles County High School, Precinct A, and the Rec Center is Precinct B. I just think it's nice for us to know every now and then where we live and who and where we're supposed to vote and all that stuff. Doesn't matter as much in this election. Of course, when you're electing county commissioners, it matters a lot.
Yeah, August, it was a huge of importance then.
Yeah, exactly. So that gives you an idea of what our county looks like in terms of voting, and gave you a little breakdown on what it looks like to be as far as what our city council is. It's a little civics class, as I said. If you learn a little bit about how your government works and all that stuff. So it's a good thing for us to have these and have this a little bit of time.
And one thing I just want to point out, walked into Colonial Hall this afternoon, and for about the 3rd year in a row, 3 years now I've been voting there. Flawless, fantastic staff.
Well, that's because Gerald Harper's up there.
Mr. Harper was in there. He was hanging out in the back, and I walked in, and he says, "Is that you up there, Neely?" And I said, "Yes, sir. I'm ready to do my worst." And we had fun. It's great to catch up with him. The staff is outstanding up there. I know all the precincts are represented very well, but I got to shout out to folks at Colonial Hall.
We know about that
hometown
one,
voting
right,
precinct.
We definitely know about that one.
No doubt.
And so we're going to take a break. We've we've scratched the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little more detail here for you guys, and so we'll dig into do a little more detail. We're going to try to use up a little more time. I'd say we're hopefully within the next 10 or 15 minutes we'll be getting some results, but there's no guarantee on that. Those results come on their own time. There's no there's no rushing them up. So just maintain your patience with us because we can't give you results until we get them. But as soon as we get them, we will definitely be shooting them to you just as fast as I can read them off, right? So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to the Giles County election coverage on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
Hi, I'm Hagan Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
Citizen Media is everywhere. Get daily news, sports, and obituary updates in the Pulaski Citizen e-edition at PulaskiCitizen.com. Pulaski Citizen Live offers video and audio streaming of local sports, local meetings, and community events. Pulaski Citizen Social lets you know when and where the next event or update can be found. Love to hold that paper in your hand? The same Pulaski Citizen newspaper that's been printed since 1854 is available each week by subscription or on newsstands throughout Giles County. Tell your story with Citizen Media.
Pulaski Citizen Live is doing Giles County sports and community events like they've never been done before. Video of local government meetings and community events, as well as streaming of high school, middle school, and youth league games. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and more are all on the PCL schedule throughout the year. Get your game called by the most recognized sports announcers in Giles County. So are you looking for your next meeting, event, or game? Make sure you tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live on YouTube and on the Mixler app.
Man, if I don't get you fired up right there, your wood's wet, baby.
Woo! You know, it's kind of what it really is making me think about, sitting in this chair like this, hearing that kind of music, making me think about tomorrow night in our Bobcat football coaches show.
We're going to talk about all kinds of some PCL stuff here. And yes, tomorrow night right here in this very same spot, which I wonder if they'll let us just leave the stuff here. Probably not. But anyway, right here in this very spot, Giles County High School head coach David O'Connor, a few of the ball players, Chris and Wade will be here. Hey, it's playoff season. Giles County got a big win in their first round. Second round coming up Friday. You got to be here to find out what the coach is saying, what's going on, what to look for, what to be ready for whenever Loudoun County comes to town.
Yeah.
To the Brickyard.
Fourth straight year the Cats have made the second round, and every game obviously growing in importance. And Coach David O'Connor, he was a little, I'm not going to say nervous last week, but you could tell there's a little different of intensity.
Postseason,
right? Exactly. He was cranking it up a little, so I'm curious to see what kind of demeanor he's in tomorrow night.
Right. So you can find out all of what happened Friday night for Richland and Giles County in this week's Pulaski Citizen. Let me just say that. And I'm using this as a segue, by the way. But in this week's Pulaski Citizen, break down Giles County's win, Richland's devastating loss in the first round of playoffs, and you'll find out what's going on around our community in a lot of different areas. There's a lot of stuff in the newspaper every week. Believe me, just ask Carrie Malone. She's the one that puts it all in there.
Yes, sir.
And we just try to shovel as much stuff at her as we can and just tell her to get in there the best she can. So, yeah, well, you pick up the newspaper. You can find out what's going on. Pick up next week's newspaper. You'll see these election results. That segue is I went into the archives of the Pulaski Citizen this afternoon, knowing good and well that you and I were going to be here, and I dug up some statistics. I know Wade is a big statistics man.
Love it.
I personally am not as much statistics, but so I thought, how many people voted 4 years ago? Same election, mayor, 3 aldermen. There's a little bit of difference. We'll talk about that in just a minute. There's one thing that made it different, and the numbers bear out the significance. Approximately 9,874 people voted in Giles County in this same election 4 years ago. Excuse me. 5,675 of those people voted early in 2018. Today, or this year in this election, 3,272 people voted early. You're talking about a 2,500 difference. It's right at 57% of what voted in 2000 of the number of people that voted in 2018 voted in 2022. So, looking at that, if you take that 57% and you put it onto the total, you're probably looking at somewhere around 6,000 to 6,500 votes versus 9,800 votes back 4 years ago. Now, what in the world was going on 4 years ago? Well, you had a president whose name – now, it wasn't an election. It was a presidential election.
Still midterm.
But it was still a midterm. But you had a president who a lot of people didn't like, and that really drove – and a lot of people did like. And it drove more people to the polls across the country. It was one of the larger elections that we've had here as far as turnouts go on a midterm, which is crazy, you'd think. But, yeah, 9,874 people voted 4 years ago, 3,272. That was total. 5,675 early, just 3,272 early here this year. So that kind of gives you, and election day voting last time was 4,199. So actually more voted early than late than they did on election day. So the numbers are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it, and when I saw that, I'm like, why in the world is it such a difference? Well, I got to look at it. It was considered a very high turnout for 2018. I think we know one of the main reasons why. And so you take away young Mr. Trump, and the numbers come down, basically, is what's happened. Just a few more notes to talk about as we're moving on with our coverage, and we are waiting to get results from the Election Commission, and as soon as we start getting those, we'll start talking about those, just to let you guys know. Election certification is kind of important this year for a reason that I will explain. The Giles County Election Commission will meet to consider certifying tonight's elections on November 23rd.
Okay.
All right. That is significant for the Pulaski Board of Mayor and Alderman for this reason. Those people elected tonight for the Pulaski Board of Mayor and Alderman do not take office until the first regular meeting after certification, which means that your current Board of Mayor and Alderman will remain in office until December the 13th, which will be the first. Now, that's the way we understand it, and I've talked to people that know. I didn't just take my word for it, I promise you. I've talked to people that know, and from what we can understand, that's how it's going to work. Now, somebody may tell me different, and I'll be glad to talk to them about that. But I talked to some people that know, and that's the way it seems to work. So, Pulaski voters, we'll kind of break down a little bit more on the election here, on the actual positions here. So, Pulaski voters are asked to fill the position of mayor and 3 alderman seats. Qualified to run for mayor, as we told you earlier, John Amlander, J.J. Brinley, Larry Worsham. Incumbent Mayor Pat Ford is not seeking election.
Right.
6 candidates have qualified for 3 open alderman seats on the board. We talked about them. Incumbent Jerry Bryant, Tony A. Gentry, Tammy Mathis, incumbent Pat Miles, Janice Marks Tucker, and Tasha D. Williams. So, the alderman. The Pulaski board has pretty much remained the same since 2018. We added Larry Worsham, I think, was in 2020 was when he came onto the board. So the makeup of that board has the opportunity to change quite a bit. And I was surprised when I was doing this because I really didn't think about it like this. Hardin Franklin's not running for re-election, so we know at least 1 new alderman. All right. So with just looking at that, you're going to add maybe 1 to 3 new aldermen on the board tonight. Do you know 1?
1 for sure.
Maybe 3.
Yep.
Another alderman seat could be in play in this election. So if I got a big if Larry Worsham were to be elected mayor tonight, his alderman seat would come open, right?
Yep.
And it would have to be filled after the election. They're not going to take the 4th highest vote getter and just put him in Larry's. I mean, they're just not going to do it that way. So I talked to my sources again, and we believe that the process would be that the board would appoint someone to serve as alderman until the next city election, or it could be the next general election, but it could be the next city election. But anyway, they would serve. It may be that if Larry's elected and they appoint somebody to take his seat, that person would serve out the remainder of his term until the next city election. So basically,
could be major shakeup. Obviously, if Larry were to win,
excuse me. So
it could be as many as 5 seats. 5 seats. Excuse me.
You could have if you count Larry moving to the mayor's seat.
Correct. Yes.
You could have as many as 5 people in new positions, either new people or old people or one person that's there going into a new position. You could have a shakeup of 5 people on that board, and I really hadn't thought about it like that. And when I was doing all this, I even said it out loud to Carrie. I was like, "Did you realize?" And she says, "No, I didn't." But no matter what happens tonight, Pulaski will have a new mayor coming to the board. Incumbent Pat Ford has finished up his 3rd term and is not seeking a re-election. So we could see as many as 5 new people come on when all this washes out. 5 people in new positions there on the Pulaski board. That's pretty interesting. Ardmore's a little more cut and dry. Qualifying to run for mayor are Wayne Harville, incumbent Mike Magnuson, Jonathan Lee Peters. What's going to be interesting to see about this Ardmore race is what came down last week. The state comptroller brought down its report on accusations against Mayor Magnuson, and how will that play out in this election? That's a good question. I don't know. We did have Mark Mize down there covering their meeting last week. That comptroller's report came down just before that meeting last week, the Ardmore City meeting, and they did talk about it. And there was some information that they shared and all in that meeting. Mark, we didn't get that story in this week's paper. It will be in next week's paper.
Yep.
And you'll find out the details about what that is and what it and how it shakes out as far as we'll find out how it shakes out as far as election goes tonight. But how it shakes out, the bigger ramifications, overall ramifications, we'll find out. Mark will let us know all about that next week in the Citizen.
Yeah, and one thing I just got to point out, you mentioned Mark Mize going down and covering that for us last Thursday. Thursday, he's the former sports editor, but he's also a city reporter, mainly covering that Ardmore beat. And he had his –
he didn't know what to do.
He kind of had his pick of the litter, so to speak. He could have went out to the Richland Coaches Show, the biggest pep rally on the city streets of Linville, and instead he put on his civic duty cap and he went down and covered the Ardmore beat for us. So how about the versatility of Mr. Mize for us there?
Mark has been amazing me for years.
Yes.
And it was just exactly the word you said, versatile.
Yes,
versatile,
sir.
Mark Matter of fact, we had a gentleman here that works in the same organization as Mark does now. Mark works for one of our fall sports sponsors, Bank of Frank Ewing, right? And one of his Bank of Frank Ewingites, I guess is what you would call them,
I'll allow it,
said that Mark Mize is loved by everybody in that organization. And I think because the work that he does takes him all around. So I can understand why. Mark's a good guy. And
we're glad to have him.
And, and his wife keeps sharing pictures of his baby and him when he was a baby, wanting us to figure out which one is which. And Carrie says, well, it's obvious. The little Xavier's obviously the cuter of the two. But anyway, that's what Carrie says anyway.
He can't win everything.
I know this is election coverage night, but just indulge Wade and I as we ramble on about Mark Mize, right?
Yeah. But like you kind of bringing it back to the point, though, that was a massive deal that he went down and covered for us in the city of Ardmore last week. And like you said, we're going to get some results tonight, but there could be a bigger picture at play going forward.
Whether that plays out in this election, who knows? We'll find out. We may not even know for sure whether it did or not, but based on what the results are. But we'll know. I have a hard time believing that it's not going to have some kind of ramifications on who is elected mayor. As far as the city, the board goes, the alderman goes, you got a couple of incumbents, and then you got Joe Stagner, who is just like an incumbent because he's been on that board a couple of different times. So he's almost like an incumbent. So the alderman seats are pretty much wrapped up, and as far as the Ardmore election goes, the referendum, it was on the ballot, and it's a referendum allowing the sale of alcohol beverages for consumption on premises in the county, outside of the city's limits. So basically, the commission put this on the ballot. They voted on it last year to put it on the ballot. Ardmore, Minor Hill, and Pulaski already have what is known. This is the liquor by the drink, right? That's what everybody calls it. So basically, if you want to walk in, order a mixed drink, that's what liquor by the drink means, that you can drink it there on the premises. And what they're wanting to do is pass that outside of the municipalities so that in the county you can have that. Now, the immediate impact is really not expected to be that great. You may have one or two restaurants, kind of like Kitchen 218 or whatever, that's popped up here in Pulaski that could, if it's passed, they could pop up out in the county places, and then you could have liquor by the drink at them. The main payoff is that when Exit 14 would ever be developed, that out there you could
already in place.
Is already in place. So that was the main reason. It, like I said, it's not going to really affect a whole lot right now anyway. But I think it's just another step towards maybe getting that exit out there going like we want it to. So there's that, or any other exit as far as that goes, because they're all just county property. So also on the November 8th ballot will be the state and federal seats, including Clay Doggett, Tennessee House of Representatives, District 70, Governor Lee, incumbent Governor Lee, that we believe has already wrapped up his race. Tennessee Supreme Court judges were on there, U.S. House of Representatives. I was going to talk a little bit about that one. So for the last at least, I don't know, 4 to maybe 10 years, maybe not quite 10 years, our U.S. Congressman, or at least for the last several years, has been Dr. Mark Green.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we used to be in District 4. Matter of fact, when Scott DesJarlais was first elected U.S. Congressman, he was in the election that we were voting for, and we were in that district. We moved out of that district, moved into Mark Green's district. We've had Mark Green as our congressman pretty much for the last several years, and now we've moved back into that District 4. That District 4, if it's still the same, is a weird district. It wraps all. It's kind of like District 5 here. It wraps all the way from like Pall Mall in Tennessee all the way down around through our counties, and then back up a little bit like toward Hohenwald or something like that, or Franklin or Hickman County or something like that. So District 4, the Congressional District 4, is a big, widely spread district. And so we've moved back into District 4. Scott DesJarlais is still the incumbent. He's running as a Republican candidate against Wayne Steele, who's the Democrat. And the independents there were Clyde Benson, Theron Chandler, David Layton Jones, Joseph Maguire, and Mike Winton. So Mark Green, who, by the way, Wade went, and if you get to where you want to here on Pulaski Citizen Live, you can go. I've got one.
I saw that look in his eyes, folks.
I've got one. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's take a real quick break. Let me.
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah. Let me conjugate and get my thoughts right, and we will be back with our first election results, which I believe are going to be the early voting results here on Pulaski Citizen Live. We'll be back in a minute.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer. Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Hi, I'm Hagen Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
All right, Wade, we'll dispense with the music here. We'll come back, and we'll just come straight on back.
Straight back into it. I love it.
We have our absentee, early and absentee voting numbers here. The public count for early and absentee voting, 3,409 total. That's a little different than the number that I got, but it's pretty close. Still significantly less than 4 years ago. So. Let's scroll down to the one that everybody wants to hear about, which are the Pulaski and Ardmore votes. So the total here in this Pulaski for mayor: John Amlander, 26; J.J. Brinley, 701; Larry Worsham, 358. It's 358 for Larry Worsham, 701 for J.J. Brinley, 26 for John Amlander. That is your early voting absentee numbers for the mayor of Pulaski race. In the alderman of the city of Pulaski race, Jerry Bryant, 610; Tony Gentry, 431; Tammy Mathis, 375; Pat Miles, 441; Janice Marks Tucker, 387; Tasha Williams, 369. Man, that is tight right
Punched.
there. Jerry Bryant's got a pretty good lead for one of those seats. The next two would be Pat Miles, the other incumbent, and Tony Gentry. But Janice Marks at 387, Tammy Mathis at 375, Tasha Williams at 369. It's anybody's race on the next two seats. I think I'd see a hard time seeing Jerry not winning it just straight from that 610.
Right. Big lead.
Almost a 200 lead over the next one. There's still 4 precincts to do, so it's very possible that those other 5 are just tight. I mean, really tight. So that's pretty good. On the liquor by the drink referendum in the county, 1,372 voted for, 724 voted against. Looking back up at the Ardmore. And they're coming in again. They're already coming in wide open. Okay,
we said this would happen.
Here's your votes in the early voting and absentee box for the mayor of city of Ardmore. Wayne Harville, 22. Mike Magnuson, 42. Jonathan Peters, 1. So 22 for Harville, 42 for Magnuson, 1 for Peters. In the city of Ardmore race, we'll go ahead and give you these numbers just so, I mean, it's academic because these guys are going to be, there's actually one write-in vote, but they didn't say who it was. But 40, the top vote so far in the Ardmore Alderman race, Joe Stagner with 48, Jason Sherman with 38, Spencer Smith with 34. So those are your two city races. And I just got another box. If you give me a second, I'll see if I can't pull it up real quick. Oh, I've got a bunch of boxes. So they're coming at me hot and heavy. Let's see which one this is. So this is the airport precinct. That's Minor Hill. That will not have any of this. Probably won't have any of the city of Pulaski in it. So, but the referendum passed there as well, out of the Minor Hill box. Let's see. And then they'll give us a total of these before we leave, probably before we leave here. Here's the rec center. This will be a city box. Okay?
Buckle up.
So we are dealing with, I'm just making sure I get the right numbers because it's easy to get mixed up. Election day voting, because we already gave the walk-in voting just a minute ago, and Kerry is tabulating all this up for us. So I want to make sure the number I'm giving you is just today's voting, okay? I can give you the total after this. I can give you the total from this box, but I want to give you today's voting numbers first. So today in the rec center box, for John Amlander 6. For J.J. Brinley, 148, and for Worsham, 82. And total on that box, if you count the early voting, all right, and you count what happened today, all voting totaled up for that box, just that one box. Amlander with 11, Brinley with 365, Worsham with 197. Also, just out of that box, considering today and early voting, 331 for Bryant, 213 for Gentry, 221 for Mathis, 219 for Miles, 169 for Tucker, and 191 for Williams. So Jerry still holds that lead that, you can't add all these numbers together now, y'all, because I gave you early voting a while ago, and what I just read for you also includes early voting. So don't get confused. What I'm telling you right there, these numbers that I just gave you are the total for this box, early and election. Okay?
Yep.
So you can't take my early voting numbers that I gave you a minute ago and add these to it. You have to add today's votes to that. So don't get too confused. Just know that right now Jerry Bryant holds a really decent lead.
Sizable lead, yeah.
For his spot. These other guys are tight, especially now with this box. Tony Gentry, Tammy Mathis, and Pat Miles seem to be the main two that are vying for those other two seats. Now, Tasha's not out of it, neither is Janice, but that just based on this box is what it kind of looks like. Let me see if there's something else on here that I need to get out here before I look at my next one. Looking at the governor's race, the governor, Bill Lee, he walked away with that one too. So that is the rec center box. Moving to the next one I have here, it's going to be the UT Southern box, which is District 6. Let me get down here to the city of Pulaski. I'm going to give you election day totals first.
Yep.
Then I'll give you the total from the box, including all votes, okay? Election day totals from the UT Southern box. Jerry Bryant, 67. Tony Gentry, 55. Tammy Mathis, 38. Pat Miles, 47. Janice Marks Tucker, 47. And Tasha Williams, 38. Okay? I'm telling you, that those other two
still awfully
really
congested
tight.
there.
On the mayor's race, John Amlander, 4. J.J. Brinley, 86. And Larry Worsham, 35. That seems to be trending pretty almost 2-1, or in some points more than 2-1 for J.J. over Larry Worsham. Looking at now, I'll give you these the total from these boxes. Total early voting and election day voting for the Bridgeforth box: John Amlander 8, J.J. Brinley 228, Larry Worsham 98. So that's all holding pretty good. JJ right now has got about a 2-1 lead on his next closest competitor. Jerry Bryant has pretty much wrapped up his seat already. And then you got, like I said, Tony Gentry, Tammy Mathis, Pat Miles, and Janice Tucker. Are those four, and Tasha's still in there too, but those four are really going hard at those for those next two seats. And let's see if I've got any more before we take another break and we try to kind of conjugate and absorb all this just a little bit. I do not have another one right at this minute. So far we've got the early voting in, we've got Minor Hill in, which didn't really help us out on our city elections. We've gotten we got
Ardmore sorted.
Did we get completely sorted, right? I mean, that was their box, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So Ardmore sorted. Check it off.
Check it off the list.
Mike Magnuson was reelected as mayor. I didn't even think about that till just now. But that
unless I'm missing something, right? That's the only.
We didn't get the Ardmore. No, we didn't get the Ardmore box yet. That was early voting.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry. Take that back. So y'all, we'll back off of that just a bit.
Rewind 30 seconds, folks.
I think the early voting shows Mike Magnuson ahead in Ardmore, and we will wait until we get the actual Ardmore election day box because it usually has more. Because the Ardmore people aren't nearly have the tendency to come into town to vote early.
Yep.
You usually get more election day voting up there.
Makes sense.
So let's wait until we get that box. So I tell you, we're going to take another break real quick, Wade, and we're going to never mind. Because guess what?
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Let's see what we got before we go anywhere. This is the Linville box. It's not going to help us in any of these. Once again, the vote for legal sale of alcohol for own consumption is going to pass. Based on early voting, and it's almost 2.5 to 3-1, almost every time that you get it. So unless something just crazy happens, that will pass. As far there's no other major election going on as far as local is concerned in that Limbo box.
Yeah, Limbo was quiet this year.
Yeah.
For a change.
For a change. And the airport, which is 2. Now, there may be, let me see, because there may be a couple of people, absolutely no local on there, and the 2-1 on the liquor referendum passes again in the airport box. So that's going to hold steady everything holds steady as far as what we've told you. Let's take a minute, give Wade and I just a second to breathe. We'll come back, and we'll kind of go over what we just went over. So just give us a few seconds here on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Hi, this is JJ Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer. Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Hi, I'm Hagan Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
Pulaski Citizen Live is doing Giles County sports and community events like they've never been done before. Video of local government meetings and community events, as well as streaming of high school, middle school, and youth league games. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and more are all on the PCL schedule throughout the year. Get your game called by the most recognized sports announcers in Giles County. So are you looking for your next meeting, event, or game? Make sure you tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live on YouTube and on the Mixler app.
Citizen media is everywhere. Get daily news, sports, and obituary updates in the Pulaski Citizen e-edition at PulaskiCitizen.com. Pulaski Citizen Live offers video and audio streaming of local sports, local meetings, and community events. Pulaski Citizen Social lets you know when and where the next event or update can be found. Love to hold that paper in your hand? The same Pulaski Citizen newspaper that's been printed since 1854 is available each week by subscription or on newsstands throughout Giles County. Tell your story with Citizen Media.
Wade, welcome back in. I'm trying to get together these numbers so we can carry it. By the way, everybody, Carrie Malone, our editor, is back at home taking these numbers and calculating them up. She built her little spreadsheet. She's doing the math so we don't have to. So we will get some totals as far as these boxes go, everything tallied up that we just gave you. Wade, just real quick, maybe give me your early thoughts on what we've heard so far.
Well, the two things, obviously, with the city races that we're kind of monitoring is that the precincts that have reported, we're kind of hitting that consistent benchmark that you're mentioning when you talk about Brinley and Worsham kind of battling out. You got Amlander kind of trailing a distant third there, but the numbers of that ratio, that percentage, are kind of all trending in a consistent manner. However, when you now flip it over to that Alderman race like you're talking about,
yes.
I didn't really know what to expect in terms of how close it might be. I thought there might be one or two candidates that would separate themselves. But outside of Mr. Bryant, like you've mentioned a couple times, it really seems bunched up, and we're streaking toward a really exciting finish and a very narrow finish.
The difference between those five candidates is 441 to 369 is the highest one. Is got four. That's just in the early voting box, okay? 441 to 369. If you turn it back over to, like, let's just say the rec center box, okay, and so the difference between those five candidates goes from 221 to 169. I mean, when you're talking about thousands of votes, which is going to be in the thousands, when we get done, you're talking about that's 50, less than 50 votes separating the one at the top and the one at the bottom as far as the numbers go. So, I mean, I think Jerry Bryant's pretty much got his seat wrapped up. But this other seat is wide open with, like I said, maybe Tony Gentry, Tammy Mathis, and Pat Miles kind of leading the pack of the five, but Janice has had some good numbers too, and even Tasha has had enough numbers that, the next two precincts that come in for Pulaski are going to spell out who did it. But right now, if I, looking at the numbers that I'm looking at, kind of bouncing between one page and the other, looks like Tony's pretty much
building some ground. It sounded like
is holding on to second place fairly good. So it looks like Tony Gentry, unless it just goes real sideways for him here in these other two boxes, is going to hold on to second place now. And then you really want to talk about getting tight. Tammy Mathis and Pat Miles are neck and neck. I mean, in the early voting, 2 votes between the two of them. In the rec center box, you're talking about 20 votes between the two of them. with Pat leading that one. And then I know I had the UTS box, if I can find it real quick and just kind of look. And maybe I'm just trying to get some kind of idea of, speaking of Carrie Malone, she's come in with some numbers for us. So
hit us.
So as of right now, the numbers are Jerry Bryant with 798, Tony Gentry with 586. All right. Pat Miles with 571. Janice Marks Tucker with 506. Tammy Mathis with 497. And Tasha Williams with 488. So your top three right now, he's still got 2 boxes out. Jerry Bryant, Tony Gentry, and Pat Miles. Pat Miles has a lead of about, 65 on Janice Tucker, and maybe 60, right at 70 on Tammy Mathis for that third spot. So Tasha Williams is falling down at 40, but 48 still not that far out. It's still any of those 5 could win it.
And we saw that in the August election. Maybe not won't happen quite as much in this go around, but we saw that different precincts, one swoosh comes in for a certain candidate out of a certain district, and then that totally could kind of change things. Yeah. So that is very, very tight amongst those alderman candidates.
You've got one box still to come from District 7, which is the south of 64.
Yep.
And then you've got one box still to come from north of 64, which is District 6. So you got one box still coming from each of those. I mean, these boxes are going to come in. This is going to come down to a really tight race for who's going to win these seats.
Yeah, and I mean, you said 2 votes earlier. I mean, someone gets a flat tire or someone is running and didn't get there. I mean, we're talking that narrow of a gap when you talk about these local. And to me, that's what makes the local election so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Is you do have that, movie-type scenario where every vote truly does count. When you get to the state and the federal level, maybe not quite as much. But in these local elections, 2 votes. We're talking 2 votes. And we saw it in August. Some of these Ardmore-type races, Minor Hill races, comes down to, 10 or less.
Yeah.
Somebody has a bad day and can't make it out of the house for some reason. Could be somebody getting a different seat,
That's exactly right. So the mayor race in Pulaski, we're not official, so we can say whatever we want, I guess. I mean, we can almost go ahead and call it for JJ right now. He's got 935 to 475 to 36. Well, Larry has 475. JJ has 935. John has 36. So JJ, with 2 boxes left, has a 2-1 lead on the closest person. I don't know if there's that many votes left in those two precincts.
Total.
But it'll be official at some point. But it's pretty obvious that JJ Brinley is going to be our next mayor of Pulaski. And congratulations to him and on the 2 guys that ran against him. There was a good race. Everybody ran it. It was all about what I liked about that race for all 3 of these guys was it was about the city of Pulaski.
Yes.
It wasn't about, they obviously want to get elected, but it wasn't about them. It was about what's best for what they thought was best for city of Pulaski. In Ardmore, as I said, right now, Mayor Magnuson may have a 2-1 lead, but there's still plenty of votes out there.
And I love the point that you made, which is very valid. Very south end of the county, maybe we're not going to drive all the way in to do the early voting. We're just going to wait till November 8th and get it done. So that kind of walk-in vote on the day of is potentially out there looming.
And if what we were talking about a while ago with the comptroller's report coming down and what they found in that, and that they got that last Thursday.
Could have waited till today to make a decision.
And so if they waited till today to make the decision, that might change how this box goes whenever the Ardmore precinct comes in. Pretty interesting stuff. We looked at some of this other stuff. Let me get back to this early voting page because I think we can look at some of the stuff that's out there. We've said it looks pretty much like the liquor by the drink. It's also trending towards a 2-1 on everything that we've seen so far. So liquor by the drink looks like it countywide. As we said, that's not going to really affect anything really that big right now. Maybe we can get a few restaurants open up in the county that could serve drinks. It may do that, but I think the big thought process is when we get when we get our exits developed, then we can have it out there as well.
Well, and to me, it kind of is like those 4 ballot measures we talked about at the state level. It's not necessarily something you want to have to go back in and tidy up after the fact. If you can go ahead and put it on the books, why wait until a restaurant is already open and then they have to bring it before the local commission there and get things kind of rolling? Why not just go ahead and maybe put it in place so that way, from day one you can go ahead and have that measure there ready to go.
In Giles County, the early voting numbers for Bill Lee, almost 2493. Next closest is his Democrat challenger, Jason Martin, 827. And
that race was called by WKRN. 10 minutes after the polls closed.
So Bill Lee is going to be reelected governor. Just look at how Giles County voted on these constitutional amendments. Constitutional amendment number 1 was the one about unions. 76% in favor. Basically, you can't fire somebody for whatever their status is with a union. For constitutional amendment number 2, which one was that? That wasn't the
number 2 was the succession line.
Yeah, the how the powers are play out in certain situations. That's passed in Giles County by.
That was the one that took 15 minutes of my life. I'll never get back, by the way.
Both of these almost 3-1, by the way. And then the amendment number 3 was the change in wording as far as slavery is concerned in the Constitution, to wipe out some stuff that was still in there. That's almost a 4-1 in favor of. And then the closest one is the one on the preachers, believe that or not. Constitutional amendment number 4 to allow pastors and clergy to serve in the legislature. Take out the language that keeps them from being able to do that. That's 1,834 and 1,023 again, so it's 64-35. But so it's not, it's not as
particularly
big
close, but
not as nearly
the
as big
closest.
Desjardins in Giles County, 2,338 votes early, 818 for Wayne Steele. Mike Winton got 22. I only say that because I know somebody voted for him.
Well, there's a gentleman that I'm friends with that I run with sometimes. I'll protect his identity, but he wrote himself in for that particular race. I don't think that – I suppose that won't show up on the ballot tonight.
The write-in probably will show up, but the
that gentleman knows who he is, and he's watching this broadcast tonight.
So now I've got some more results in here, so let me close out what I've got. One of them is airport, so we won't look at that one. We already had Minor Hill. We won't look at that one. Let's see. What else have I got here? This one is Giles County High School.
Here we go.
Right. This is the other box out of District 7. This will help us out with our Pulaski city race here. All right. So Jerry Bryant, 199. Tony Gentry, 120. Tammy Mathis, 110. Pat Miles, 123. Janice Tucker, 112. Tasha Williams, 136. So now Tasha jumps back up there even closer because the one she was behind, she's kind of gained ground a little bit on everybody right there.
Yep.
Tony kind of holds that lead.
Didn't lose much ground, if any.
Didn't really lose any ground. So, you look like Jerry's, like I said, pretty much got his seat wrapped up. Tony's looking more and more like I said, he didn't lose any ground there. Pat actually gained ground on all the other 4 that's fighting for those other 2 spots. So she already had about a 50-vote lead going into that box over the next person. So she actually won. Other than Jerry, she won this box out of those other 5. So, I take that back. Tasha did at 136. So still really tight with the Bridgeforth box to go. Right now it's looking like Jerry Bryant, Tony Gentry, and
buckle up for the last.
I mean, I guess if you had to put somebody in that 3rd spot based on the numbers running around in my head, it would be Pat Miles.
Yep.
But right now you can't even say that because it's too close to say that. For mayor, numbers running pretty much the same. This box, Larry did it was it's still close to 2. It's not when I say it's 2-1, it's really not quite 2-1, but it's close. It's 213 for JJ, 121 for Larry, and 15 for John Amlander. So JJ, as I said, JJ Brinley's going to be your next mayor of Pulaski.
Yep.
And that's because in the one box, there's no way it's going to make it up. So just go ahead and write that down. Congratulations to JJ. He is your mayor of Pulaski. And congratulations on all those guys for putting together good votes.
Like you said, it was a fun race.
Yeah, it was a refreshing race.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it was a refreshing race. So Linville, we got a Linville box here. Not a lot going on in Linville. Let's see, what's this box? This is the Agri Park box. I don't think there'll be any. No, there's not in there. See if we get that Bridgeforth box or the Ardmore box. Those are the two we're looking for. There's TCAT. That's a District 5 box. And every one of these boxes, by the way, liquor by the drink is at least 2-1. So liquor by the drink is going to pass in Giles County, just so everybody knows that, in the county itself. And there's Campbellsville box.
Yep.
And it's the same. It's all the same. So everything we have right now, Carrie's giving us these totals. Let me go back over the totals that we have. This does not include that last box, that Giles County box that we did, but I'm going to give you the totals we had before that, and then she'll punch in those Giles County High School numbers, and we'll get that. Jerry Bryant, 798. Tony Gentry, 586. Pat Miles, 571. Janice Marks Tucker, 506. Tammy Mathis, 497. Tasha Williams, 488. 2 boxes left to go. We just read one of them, and you kind of know how that shook out. Mm-hmm. Mayor, without that box, 935 for JJ, 475 for Larry Worsham, 36 for John Amlander. Ardmore, just the early voting numbers for Ardmore, 42 for Mike Magnuson, 22 for Wayne Harwell. So we need the Ardmore box, we need the Bridgeforth box. Those two are going to tell the tale of what we're here to talk about tonight. And so
north end of the county, south end of the county.
That's exactly right, yeah. So those Carrie's going to punch in the last numbers we got, and then we'll wait around for those 2 boxes to come in and figure out how it's all going to shake out. We're going to take a break real quick, take another quick commercial break, see if we can get some of these numbers in before we have to fill more airway,
That's when the fun begins.
Yeah. We need to talk a little Pulaski Citizen Live anyway.
Yep.
So we'll definitely do that. But I'm trying to get my stuff up here so that we can start this off. All right. So we're going to take a break. Thank you for listening to us here on Pulaski Citizen Live. I'm Scott Stewart. He's Wade Neely. And just real quick, we're fixing to listen to our sponsor. But let me tell you who they are. First Realty Group, J.J. Brinley for Mayor of Pulaski, Giles County Fire and Rescue, Haney Realty and Property Management, Holley's Printing, M&M Staffing, LLC. Here we go. Here's a few words from all those guys.
First Realty Group is first in community and school support. They love Giles County. They love Giles County students, and they love Giles County's athletes. For First Realty Group, connecting buyers and sellers goes hand in hand with supporting their neighbors, schools, teachers, local businesses, and organizations. First Realty Group also loves putting sold signs on their clients' properties. Let their friendly and knowledgeable agents help you get your own sold sign. Call 363-2644 and visit them at frg1.com.
Hi, this is JJ Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. Regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. Visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Haney Realty and Property Management considers it a privilege to help you find the right deal. Hi, this is Daniel Haney. Are you listing, selling, buying, renting, or looking for property management? Let Haney Realty and Property Management create the plan that fits your needs. Our agents bring diverse experience and knowledge of Giles County, Middle Tennessee, and North Alabama. We offer a friendly, professional, and creative approach to your specific needs. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Call 347-9150 and find our listings at HaneyRealtyPM.com.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
Thank you to all of our sponsors, Wade.
Yes, sir.
M&M Staffing LLC, one of our all these guys are charter sponsors, I believe. Maybe one of them is not, but First Realty Group is a charter sponsor. Giles County Fire and Rescue. They came on in spring, right? Yeah, they came on in
January
the
of last year.
Yeah.
We are close to the 1 year anniversary,
right,
partner.
Yeah. So First Realty Group came on at the very beginning of the year. Haney came on at the very beginning of the year. Holley's, M&M. All these guys came on. Giles County Fire and Rescue kind of got in on the back end of our our charter sponsor deal.
Yep.
That was in spring. And so all these guys have been on with us all the way along. We appreciate them. And I'm just telling you, if they care enough to support what we're doing to bring all this stuff to the community, they deserve your support. And that's just about the only way I know to say it. Kerry has crunched those numbers as far as all the boxes that we have so far on everything. We still lack the Bridgeforth box up for the city of Pulaski and the Ardmore box for the city of Ardmore. So, looking at the numbers as they stand right now, Jerry Bryant, 871 votes. Tony Gentry, 633 votes. Pat Miles, 605 votes. And then Janice Tucker for 545, Tammy Mathis 539, and Tasha Williams 535. I would go ahead and say that I'm comfortable with Jerry Bryant, obviously.
Right.
I'm pretty comfortable with Tony Gentry at this point because two back from him, the closest, is more than 30 behind. But that's still a gettable number. Don't get me wrong. But I feel pretty good about that one. And then Pat Miles is holding a decent lead on those next five at 605. In the race for mayor, J.J. Brinley 1,017, Larry Worsham 510, John Amlander 43, and still the number we have in Ardmore, Mike Magnuson 42, Wayne Harwell 22, and on the liquor by the drink so far the numbers we have that have been turned in, even some of them I haven't read off because she's getting all the numbers, 31094, 1398 against. And so that's kind of where we are. We do have a couple of candidates that showed up. One of them, Mike Magnuson's here from Ardmore. He's going to speak to us, but I'd like to wait until we can get that number from him. But we do have Larry Worsham here. And are you ready to come on? We'll let Larry circle around there and wait, if you don't mind. Just kind of let him slide into your spot, and we'll talk to Larry for just a minute. Appreciate him coming by, and we'll talk to Larry for just a minute and talk to him about the race and everything. So Larry Worsham's checking in with you. Hey, Larry.
Hello, Scott.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you making it?
Doing good. So you've been listening, I'm sure, to the results. Maybe just give me your first guttural reaction to what you've heard.
Well, as I told my wife before I left to come up here, I gave it my best. Just wasn't meant to be.
Right. And there's a couple of things you got to look at. First of all, you've won a couple elections. You know what it's like to be on that side of it, right?
I do.
So, and I know how you feel because the only election I ever ran in, I lost. You'd been a county commissioner. You had just started being a city alderman, and you moved in and you decided to make this. What pushed you to want to be mayor of Pulaski?
Well, you mentioned my commission work. I did spend 19 years on the county commission,
right,
and decided to venture into the city government. And as I got involved in the city government, and of course got elected to alderman, I took a deep interest in things, and I just felt like this was the time to make that run.
Yeah, well, and talk about and what was one of the main things that you wanted people to know? What is it you hope the main thing was that you hope that people got from your campaign as far as your vision for the city and what you wanted to do?
Well, my vision for the city, basically, I think there are a lot of good things going on already. Infrastructure-wise, there are a lot of projects in place and ongoing. I wanted to continue those, and I think we will. Of course, I'll remain on the city council for 2 more years,
right,
before I need to run again. But I believe those projects are very vital and need to be done. We do have a drainage issue here in several areas of the city limits that need to be addressed. That was going to be one of my top priorities. Still think it's a big priority for us. And I felt like being retired from my career, I had the time. I was going to. I promised the people I would be a full-time mayor.
Boots on the ground, baby. Right.
That's right. That's right. And I wanted to be a full-time mayor, not to micromanage the day-to-day business. The day-to-day business is handled great. I wanted to be accessible to the people, and if somebody had a problem, needed to talk to the mayor, they knew where the mayor was. Right. He'd be in City Hall.
You are in a unique position. Not the most. I mean, it's not like it's never happened before. But yeah, you lose this race, but you're not losing your seat on the city council.
No.
The only way you could have lost your alderman seat was to be elected mayor, right?
Right.
So you get the opportunity to take what you've heard, right, while you've been campaigning, to take your ideas that you would have liked to have implemented as mayor and still have that agenda as a city councilman.
Correct.
So
exactly.
I mean, it's a loss. It stings. Everybody wants to win, or else we wouldn't race, right? But you still got. There's a lot for you to do here for the city of Pulaski, and I appreciate your service. I've been covering you since you were already on the county commission when I started covering. And that's a long time ago, by the way, Larry. In case you didn't know that.
It has been a while. My first term started in 1990 on the county commission.
Yeah. So you were already on there for like 5 years, 6 years before I ever started covering this county. So I appreciate your service there. Appreciate your service here. And one other thing I thought about, I asked about that because I find it interesting. I don't know that I've dealt with anybody else that served in both bodies. What are the differences? First of all, what are the differences in the two? Because there's another question I want to ask that has to do with city and county, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. The major difference is obvious. There's 21 county commissioners, and 6 aldermen, and the mayor make up the board of mayor and aldermen. So the sheer numbers are the main and obvious difference. Because of that, it's easier to get something passed.
Yes.
You with the county commission, you have 21 different personalities, 21 different ideas, potentially, and it's the committee meetings can be long and long and difficult.
Yeah, that one vote on the city council is a lot. I mean, it's 1 out of 7 versus 1 out of 21.
Right.
So
right.
I mean, that definitely different. The other thing is you've been in this for a while now. And we all know how the city and county's relationship has been over the years. I've seen it grow in a good direction. Talk a little bit about, because you were on the county commission when it wasn't that great,
right?
And you're on the city. You were on the county commission just recently when it's getting better, and now you're on the city council. Talk about just real quick about that cooperation and how important that is for everybody.
It is very important. Both bodies, although they have different roles, they're both in place for the same thing, and that's to improve the quality of life for the people of Pulaski and Giles County. You're right. You're very, very right. In my early days on the county commission, that relationship wasn't very, very good. It is much, much better. I want, if I had been fortunate enough to be elected, that was another goal I had set for myself, was to improve on that. It can still be better, but it is way better than it used to be.
Oh man, yes. It's not even the same ballpark, as far as I'm concerned. But I thought it's just a unique situation with you because you've been in both those worlds.
Right.
Well, Larry, anything that you want to add to say to the folks or anything before we let you go?
I do want to thank the people that have voted for me and the people that didn't. They had their reasons, obviously.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank the people that supported me, and I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. As you said earlier, I'll still be on the city council.
Good.
So I'm here. I'm at home.
Well, thank you for your service already. Thank you for wanting to be mayor enough to actually run for it, because there's plenty of people that want to but don't step out there.
Right.
Thank you for that. Congratulations on like you said, the folks that did vote for you. You know, you can't congratulate the win. We all want the win, but if you're like me, you'll take something out of this. You'll learn something out of this and move
Absolutely.
on. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. All right, we're going to be back in just a minute. That's Larry Worsham, going to finish second in the City of Pulaski mayor race. Our last numbers. Uh-oh. Did I lose? Okay. I thought we might have lost some there. No, that's good. It's dark in here, Larry. You can't see in here, right? Our last numbers show the Pulaski mayor race. John Amlander, 43. J.J. Brinley, 1,017. 510 for Larry Worsham. We're still waiting on the Bridgeforth box and the Ardmore box, and we've got a really tight Alderman race going on. Jerry Bryant's going to return to the city council. Tony Gentry, probably at a 75-25 that he's going to get in. Pat Miles is probably more to like a 60-40. As those are your top three vote getters right now, but don't count out Tammy Mathis, Janice Tucker, or Tasha Williams. They still all have the possibility with this last box coming in to make a big jump. And in Ardmore, you got Mayor Magnuson at 42, Wayne Harwell at 22, Jonathan Peters at 1. We'll be back in just a minute. Thank you for listening to us here on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer. Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Hi, I'm Hagan Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
Welcome back to Pulaski Citizen Live's election night coverage here, November the 8th election. We've run over some totals for you, what we've got so far. I'm sitting here hitting the send and receive button just as fast as I can go, hoping that we're going to get that Bridgeforth and Ardmore box in soon. Wade, talked to Larry Worsham, Larry Graceful, obviously.
No doubt.
It's like I told him, you never want to lose, but he'll bring some stuff out of this and still be able to serve on the city council.
Yeah, and I was kind of eavesdropping on you guys. We've got this feed, by the way, running inside Kitchen 218. Got some folks tuning in to our coverage here tonight. Like you said, most importantly, it was great that we thanked him for his service already.
Yeah.
He's already been a great, terrific civil servant for the community without tonight's results. And then, obviously, we look forward to seeing what he's going to be doing for us in the future because, fantastic guy, and it was great to see him be here. Ran a great campaign, too, honestly.
Yeah.
And just one of those things, it was a three-man race, and he ran a good, hard, clean campaign. It comes up just shy tonight.
All right, I know we're going to have at least one other mayoral candidate stop by as far as Pulaski goes. We do have an Ardmore mayoral candidate here that wants to talk to us. I want to throw, if you're out there listening, any of you candidates that would like to come by and speak, just like you saw me do with Larry here just a minute ago, I promise I won't. I'm not going to try to beat you up with questions. I'll try to lead you along real easy. Throw you some softballs and let you just tell the folks how much you appreciate what they've done for him. Please come by if you want to say something. Say no matter what office it was for, if you're here in town and you want to come by, we're here at Kitchen 218, so come on by. Let's step away real quick since from the election while we're waiting on, at least I know, one other mayor. We had another mayor candidate here earlier, but I don't see him, so hopefully he'll come back too. I'd love to talk to all three of them before the night's over with. Let's talk about Pulaski Citizen Live. Wade. This week is kind of brings a little highlight to what we're trying to do here at Pulaski Citizen Live. We started off January 2022 here, first of the year.
Yep.
Sports. Audio broadcasting of sports. And you guys have done a great job. Just let me tell you, I wish I could tell y'all how many times that I've heard how good of a job you, Chris, Cody, Mark, Jennifer, I'm going to get Alex, Bryce, everybody who has done, Andy, he helped, Andy Abernathy's helped you out some. How great of a job you guys have done. And it was exactly what we thought we wanted to do from the very beginning. We started off with basketball, and like you said, we're actually going to get a little further head start on basketball.
Yeah.
So we're really almost like our anniversary, even though we hadn't got back to January yet. We're talking about basketball. Me and Wade had a meeting today about where we're going with our basketball coverage. And I will tell you that we're going to bring you both schools, which was one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did. And, I got to thinking about what's happened since we started this. And just one thing I want to say, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but before January of 2022, how many people were broadcasting both Giles County and Richland ball games?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's not. Answer it.
There were none.
All right. How many were broadcasting City of Pulaski meetings and county commission meetings live?
That would be none.
All right. And, how many were covering the parades? How many were doing events? Because this is all leading up to this week. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to remind everybody, and it's not to toot our horn, it's to let you know we cared enough that this was available. Yeah. We were able to make it happen, and we did it. And we're doing it for everybody. We're doing it for us. We're doing it for the community because we want to highlight our community. We love it. And I just wanted to throw that out there because I just got to thinking about it today. What would have, because now there are others that are trying to do some of the stuff we're doing, and that's fine. Everybody's got to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge anybody that. But it's just kind of funny that before it wasn't happening, and then once we started doing it, it is. And I just wanted you to take that information, all of you guys out there, and do with it however you want. I just thought it was a pretty interesting thought. And, obviously it's a biased thought, but what would you expect?
And I think just speaking for me personally, when I was fortunate enough to come on board with you guys last August, obviously that was one of the main things that we kind of discussed. That was one of the main things that kind of sealed the deal for me, was kind of launching this network. And our goal internally has been to raise our own bar, but also just on a night where we're discussing politics and the democratic process, capitalism and the way the world works. In theory, by us raising the bar, it should raise the bar for everybody,
and it's been great,
which is great for the whole community. Yeah, everybody wins.
It's been great for our local high school athletics, because they went from either having one crew in the box or no crew in the box to now we're fighting for space. Not really fighting, but I mean we're having to arrange space. That's great for our schools. I love that. Yep. And so don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I just like to put things in perspective for myself a lot of times. Sometimes I like to share that perspective. Some people don't want to hear it, and some people do. And like I said, just take that information and do with it what you will. It just seems like something interesting to say to me. Now, speaking of that, I'm leading up to this week. This week is a huge week on Pulaski Citizen Live. Yesterday, our first ever Firehawks coaches show. We are fired up about the Firehawks. This is something that came to us, and we were on it like a chicken on a June bug, because it was a great idea. We already do Bobcats coaches show. We already do Raiders coaches show. Let's pull our college, our local treasure, our gem of a college, and their athletics, and let's get them on Pulaski Citizen Live with a coaches show right down the street at Kathy's every Monday, 6 o'clock. We just had our first one last night. That was number 1 for this week. Yep. Number 2 for this week, Pulaski City Council meeting at noon today. Number 3 for this week, we're doing it right now, the election coverage. Number 4 for this week, tomorrow, Bobcats Coaches Show right back here. We may try to take a breather on Thursday, if you'll let us. Friday, we're having a Veterans Parade right here in downtown Pulaski, a Veterans Ceremony. We're bringing you that live. And then Friday night, the exclamation point on a great PCL week, Giles County High School, second round of the playoffs versus Loudoun County, live on our Mixer app. So, and the one thing I didn't say a minute ago, I am blown away by the reaction that we're getting from people that are listening to us. A lot of people look at straight numbers. I look at the quality of the numbers. Yeah. And I feel like the people that are coming to us, they appreciate the work we do towards doing it right, doing it as best we can always, and that starts and ends. I'll give you guys a little bit of a peek. There's a lot of gyration that goes on around the scenes that you don't see in front of this camera, or you don't hear on the ball games. I always tell these guys that it's always the content, and we got the best community in the world, and that's our content. So even if we're running around like chickens with our head cut off around the back, most people what they see is that we're trying hard to make it work. And I want to thank everybody who listens to us, and everybody who gives us who has said good things. I take it for the team whenever they tell me, because I want to make sure everybody understands we got a great team and we got a great community to cover. So no, and again, just kind of me personally speaking, this was something that I was over the moon about doing, and kind of touching on what you mentioned, the point about our Firehawk coaches show that we launched last night. That is a real hidden gem, I think, and that's obviously, I'm a little biased because I worked there for 10 years. I think that a lot of folks take for granted the quality of play for the price that you potentially would pay. Some of these events are free to get into, but if you do have to pay to get in, you're not paying $20 a ticket. I mean, you're usually looking at $5. As my good broadcast colleague Steve Pierce used to always say, high entertainment value. For what you're paying, you're getting some elite competition. And last night was kind of the first stepping stone into our relationship with UT Southern. And these kids, obviously the soccer teams have won multiple national championships, both men and women. Basketball teams have made some fantastic runs all the way to the Final Four.
a couple years ago, almost a decade ago. And I think, folks, if you are kind of on the fence, a lot of folks had signs in their yard saying they were proud to be a part with UT Southern. Yep. I find it very interesting, though, that a lot of these folks are not necessarily showing up and supporting the Firehawks at their local events. And if you're a fan of sporting events in Giles County, whether it's middle school all the way up, these are the college athletes. These are the highest caliber athletes we've got, and are right here in our backyard. So I was over the moon to support those guys.
Right, and I'll say that about the college in general. I'm going to quote the great Dan Spear. There are a lot of people that may not have agreed with Dan Spear, but
one of our colleagues from PCL waving at us right there, Mr. Cole Derryberry.
He's also been on there with us. That's right. So the late great Dan Spear used to say not there are towns all over this country that would kill to have a 4-year college in their city limits, right? Now, not only in Martin Methodist College was a great institution, but now that you've got a UT system university in your city, it is beyond. You can't even really express how big of a deal that is. Just go ask anybody in any town that doesn't have one. And for a town the size of Pulaski, Tennessee, to have that, I called it a gem or a treasure in the paper. That is exactly what it is.
No doubt. And honestly, the transition and the way the process worked, I think a lot of folks maybe misunderestimated how big of a deal that is, because it was pulled off kind of so smoothly.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
And this is a thing that if the infrastructure was not there, if the facilities were not there, if the staffing was not already of a high caliber, both academically and athletically, that thing would have crumpled and fallen apart in a heartbeat. But the way it was just so smoothly orchestrated, I think a lot of folks in the community kind of take it for granted, and that shouldn't be lost. That you have one of the 4 premier University of Tennessee system schools right here in your backyard.
And I'll piggyback on what you said. I'm one of those. I've kind of fallen off. I've done some Martin Methodist broadcasting, followed them to Kansas City like you did. I've kind of fallen off. And last night I went to that show and I watched. I was like, I need to go watch some more UT Southern basketball. I love me. I love basketball season probably more than football season, which they're two to me. They kind of fall in different categories. But I love me some basketball, and I love college basketball. I love basketball on almost any level. And I'm gonna go watch some UT Southern basketball this year. And then you may even catch me at a soccer game. No, I'll take that back.
Careful now.
I'll take that back. But anyway, and I will use that to segue into this. Next week, we're going to start our basketball coverage.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start with 2 middle school games. And let me go back and ask you that question. How many middle school games were being broadcast before January of 2022? 0. We're going to do 2 middle school games. Richland is hosting E.O. Kaufman, and Elkton and Minor Hill are playing each other. We're going to bring those 2 games to you next week, and we'll get your Bridgeport game before their season's over with. Also next week, Wednesday, they're dedicating the Colored Troops marker up here at Cave Stream Parks. Going to be bringing you that live next week. We're going to be bringing the UT Southern Coaches Show live next week. We're going to be bringing you the Bobcats Coaches Show live from right here. Hopefully, we're just going to go ahead and plan on it next week, and we're going to go ahead and plan that we're going to have a football game next Friday. So we got all kinds of great stuff going on. I keep saying this, we just scratching the surface on what we can do and what we want to do, and we welcome you guys on for the ride. While I've been talking, y'all wish I'd shut up, but I've been hitting this send and receive, and
I see your finger clicking.
Everything has slowed down in the election world. What's going to happen is here in hopefully about 5 or 10 minutes, about 5 of them are going to show up at one time. I'm going to look down through here and make sure I haven't missed something. Let me go back over the totals that we have right now before we try to go to another break. The Pulaski Alderman race is the big one right now. It's the one that's got that we still don't know about. We do know pretty much that Jerry Bryant has secured his seat on the city council, returning as the incumbent. We feel like I said, about 75-25 that maybe Tony Gentry is going to be that second Alderman elected. Pat Miles holds the lead on that third seat, but she's at 605. The ones behind her are at 545, 539, and 535. So any one of those can still jump up and get Tony, but it's not quite as likely. But
right.
And Pat has the lead on that third spot, but those other three, there's enough votes out there for any one of those three to jump up and even catch Tony if it was a big enough jump. J.J. Brinley is the next mayor of Pulaski, 1,017 votes, 510 for Larry. That's with one box remaining in the city, by the way. We still
not official yet.
We still do not have the Bridgeforth box. We do have the Ardmore mayor's race. It's been at this since we got the early voting. Mike Magnuson leads 42-22 over Wayne Harville. Jonathan Lee Peters has one vote in that race. All we need is the Ardmore box, and we can wrap that up. We do have Mayor Magnuson here ready to talk to us, and we're ready to talk to him, but we really would like to get him up here once we know what the results are. So give us a few more minutes. We're going to keep hitting send and receive, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get this election wrapped up here. Last time we were up here to, 11 or 12 o'clock, wasn't it? Wasn't it about 11 o'clock before we got done?
I told a friend earlier, 11 p.m., and if we're still here at 11,
I'm going to be mad.
We got big problems.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we've run out of stuff to talk about. And second of all, I'm not going to be very happy about it. So, no, I don't see that.
We'll walk up to the election office ourselves and see if we can get some paper ballots.
We'll go mobile, won't we?
Absolutely.
All right. See you guys in a minute on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer. Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Hi, I'm Hagan Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
All right, we're back. Pulaski Citizen Live election coverage here on Pulaski Citizen Live. I'm Scott Stewart, got Wade Neely with me. And we have got no new results, but I do see a lighted vehicle pulling in the parking lot behind you, Wade. And I believe that it carries the next mayor, Pulaski. And matter of fact, I know it does because I see him outside the window right there.
I heard a cheer too. He's got a few friends I think tagging along.
He
with
got
him
a
here.
round of applause there, and he's meeting and greeting out there on the sidewalk. So I expect J.J. Brinley will be here in a minute. I would love to be able to give you some more numbers right now. I cannot do that because I don't have them. Matter of fact, I was just talking to Mayor Magnuson. I'm like, look, I'm sorry, I can't make these things come any faster than they already have, and then we're already getting them. We've gotten the boxes that we're looking for. I'm not going to read off all the county boxes out there. I could tell you liquor by the drink has passed. That's really the only thing that happened countywide. I can tell you that Governor Lee has been reelected. I haven't looked at any of the federal or state stuff. Of course, we know that Clay Doggett was going to be elected. Last I looked, Desjardins, at least in Giles County, was doing good. If that holds up everywhere, then Desjardins will be our congressman again here in District 4. He'll be a new congressman for us in Giles County because we haven't been in his district until we moved back in just now. He was our congressman back in around 2010. I think that was the year. That was his first year to run, if I'm not mistaken. So Desjardins looks like he's going to keep his seat. Of course, the big thing election-wise for our country are the Senate and the House races. I have obviously been busy talking to you guys. Haven't had a chance to dig that up. There are plenty.
I've been trying to hunt, but even those are tight at the moment.
Yeah, there are plenty of places out there that will tell you about it. I'm interested in it, but don't have time to look at it. And so wait here. This is your second election coverage.
Yep.
So, based on what you saw in August, based on what you're seeing now, what do you think about it? Has it changed your perception of the electoral process here in the country?
Well, number one, it's been a breath of fresh air. As a matter of fact, when you and I got together yesterday, and you had asked if I would join, I kind of jumped at the opportunity. I was excited because this is it's fun for me to step out of the sports realm.
Yes.
It was fun to go out, to the American Legion last week. Dr. Green was there speaking, and I enjoy. I'm not going to say maybe doing it all the time. That's what kind of makes it fun, though, is you get to sprinkle in a little politics here and there.
Yep.
But what has been really, really fun is, seeing the process at work. It is a total different beast than being back at those WKSR studios like you and I did when we were getting them. Now with technology kind of coming in as far as the email coming straight to us, we've got Carrie crunching all the numbers for us. This is, and there were 2 or 3 people that asked me today what were the likelihood that we could get, a touch screen pulled up here. And I said, hey, we're not there just yet.
First one that steps up with sponsorship money.
We would
they
love.
Got it. I'll put your name I'll put whoever wants to pay for it's name all over it.
I would love to wear a suit and tie. And I would flip the tie back over, and I would go to work on this thing right here.
Icewater election map.
Right. Brad Phillips, Mr. Icewater himself, asked me. He said, "Could we get a punch card or a punch screen for you?" And we would love to do that.
Dig off in them deep pockets.
Ain't no doubt about it. But this has been a real blast, and I've been delighted to be. I was terrifically surprised in August. I've been terrifically surprised by how much fun we've had tonight.
Go there and get our new mayor. Bring him over here. Let him have your seat and let me talk to him for just a minute.
Be right back.
So and what Wade's saying is true. It's and I'm kind of the opposite of Wade because I do the news all the time and then I get to go play in the sports. Wade gets to do the sports all the time and come and play in this real news world that I get to play. I get to work in most of the time. So it's a nice role reversal, like you said. That's why I love helping do the sports when these guys are doing it because I get to kind of move out of this role in the news and get to enjoy some of the athletics that I love so much. So JJ is over there. He's fixing to come and see us here in just a second. And he's over there talking. Can't believe JJ's talking. Here you go. Hey, settle in there, big boy. How you doing, man?
Man,
all right, just a little bit.
Complain.
All right, just a little bit. Well, let me just start off tell me what your first reaction is. You start seeing or hearing the numbers come in, and it's after you get after you get the early voting, you see that you got a big lead, and then as the 2 or 3 boxes that we get, that same percentage kind of holds up, and you get an idea, I'm going to be the next mayor. What's your gut reaction at that point?
Scott, being my first election, it's all surreal right now. People were calling and texting, congratulations during the early voting, and I'm a big believer. I've said this from the very beginning,
yes, you have.
And I cannot keep saying it enough. I'm running like I'm one vote behind.
You can stop.
And I know, but I still, it's like it's almost programmed in me. I ran like I was one vote behind to the last.
Yep.
And I'm proud of myself for that. We worked extremely hard,
yep.
And it really paid off. Being the first election, being a young man, you don't know what to expect, and I was scared that people wouldn't get out and vote. And so it's still so surreal right now. I'm excited, and it's the support that's around me tonight at my place has been just overwhelming, and it means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, really, to be honest with you, some of the people that you had supporting you, people, I would say my generation, your dad's generation,
sure.
You had to feel pretty honored that those people would step up and get behind you, and not just get behind you, but work hard with you.
Oh, let me tell you, if Sarah Reese steps up to the plate and says she's going to be your campaign manager or treasurer, you don't get better than that.
No.
There's just no way.
You're
and
right.
Her husband Phil to let me. I said at my acceptance speech tonight, I was like, "Thank you for letting me borrow your wife for this time," because Phil has done so much too behind the scenes, and Sarah has been she's done so much for me that I'll never be able to repay. How we've just worked hard, and it's just we're excited.
Well, let me just say this. I think you've said this in your campaign, and it really is a good idea. Just in case if you didn't, maybe take it. You're still going to lean on those folks as you work your way into the mayor's seat, because you know that they bring experience and a lot of other things that you need to help you build. Because you're stepping into something you don't know. Right?
Yeah. It's they'll keep you grounded, and as Pat Ford's out in the audience, it's a blessing to have someone to be able to call and ask. I've said this 2 or 3 times tonight, and I keep saying it. Pat's been so good to be able to reach out to Pat. Things that I don't know. I made the joke earlier. I probably asked Pat some crazy questions, but he's been one of those supporters that has opened his office to me, to being able to talk to me at any time. Everybody, and I have to take this time too to thank Larry and John.
I was going to get to that, but yeah.
We ran a clean race, and that's almost unheard of.
I called it a while ago. We were talking about, me and Wade were talking about it. I called it a refreshing race.
Yeah. Larry and I just stood at the poll. John and I were at the polls earlier together. Just happened to be there at the same times. And then Larry, John, and myself were at the polls at the rec center earlier. Man, we're all friends talking.
Yeah.
And I knew Larry. I just got to now know John, and I'm thankful to get to know John. Very nice guy. I've known Larry my whole life, and Larry's always been a gentleman. He's done a lot for this town, and Larry's got a great family, and I'm looking forward to working with Larry. I really am. I think Larry will have a lot of insight, and I'm thankful to have him a part of the team.
Yeah, and like I told him a while ago, he's in a kind of a unique position. He does, obviously he doesn't win the race, and he wanted to, but he's still going to serve.
Oh, he's still
on
a
that
huge
board,
part of
and
this time.
Still going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Pat, I remember when Pat was a brand newly elected mayor-elect, and I can remember that. So, yeah, you're getting some good advice from him, and he got some good advice from some people that were there before him, and it's almost like that tree is just carried on to you, and that's great. Yeah, I was going to get you to talk about the race, and I think it's important for everybody to understand that you guys all did y'all focused on the city of Pulaski, and that's what it's all about anyway. That's what you're doing. You're not. I mean, at the end of the day, you could go get on the boat and not do all this, but it's for this city that you love.
Exactly.
That we all love.
Yeah, it's we have a great town. We have a great city.
Absolutely.
And what I want to bring to this table is we unite with everyone.
Right.
Everybody works so hard with this. Let's work together. Let's start with a clean sheet of paper and let's move forward with everything. And let's come up with new ideas and let's retable some of the old ideas. And I'm just thankful to be in this position tonight. It's I can't thank you enough, too, and everyone for making everything so easy to work with. I said that about the radio station, but I thank you all for everything that y'all have done. My whole campaign, I've did everything local. I bought everything local. I've did everything, and that means a lot because if
Absolutely.
you talk local, you need to stand behind it.
That's
and
exactly right.
So I've stood behind that the entire time as well.
JJ, congratulations.
Hey, thank you,
Mayor-elect JJ Brinley.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to your service. And as always, all you got to do is call on us. We're here to help you help our city.
Thing that y'all do,
right.
Really do, Scott. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. See you. I've got some more results coming up. We'll be back here in just a minute on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Hi, this is JJ Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org. All
right, Scott Stewart back here on Pulaski Citizen Live, and I've got another re-elected mayor because I'm going to give you these numbers right now. Mike Magnuson, welcome on. It's good to have you on here with us. You already at the early voting, you had a 42 to 22 lead over Wayne Harville, and the Ardmore box has just come in. The totals, and this is the total. This includes both early voting and election day. The total for Ardmore for the mayor race, 199 for Mike Magnuson, 96 for Wayne Harville, and 32 for Jonathan Lee Peters. So congratulations, you have been reelected. This is your second term?
Second term.
Second term. Talk about what it feels like to it's almost like a justification after one. I talked to these other two guys. I talked to JJ about his reaction being elected for the first time. Talk just real quick, if you don't mind, about the reaction you have now that you've been there for 4 years, and you get the people come out and vote for you to return.
Oh, it's quite an honor, Stuart. I'll tell you that, and I'm so thankful for the ones for their support and stood by me, and they showed up and gave me their confidence that I'm ready to continue on doing a good job for Ardmore. Ardmore is the main focus that I'm doing, what I can do best to make it better.
Yeah, I always love Ardmore. I started my career off covering y'all's city council, and I still get to come down there every now and then. Mark will let me come down there and cover you guys, and I enjoy it every time. Talk about what maybe you've done over the last 4 years that you're most proud of.
One of the things I'm most proud of is because our police department got real low at one time and the morale was bad. Yeah. And we were able to hire a new chief, Jeremy Robinson. And that was one of my best deals that I was involved in trying to get worked out for both cities.
Yeah, and, of course, you were a mayor during the worst pandemic we've had. How did that affect you guys and how y'all were able to handle your business and what the city looks like now? Because I know y'all are dealing with funds still, right? You still got funds that you received from some of that, and y'all are using that. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Oh, we were very fortunate because when COVID come along, we really didn't know what how it would affect us.
Right.
But the strange thing about it is our revenues and everything continue to stay above the average, and we came through that in flying colors.
Right, and another project you guys are working on, you've your sewer system that needs some upgrading, and y'all are working on that.
When I first became mayor, I realized and found out that our sewer was really in bad shape. So I went to work on that with the council and the city. We got it worked out. We've had 2 projects on the infrastructure and making the sewer better. A total of about $840,000, something like that.
Right.
And it's already taken care of. And we were fortunate enough that during all that, we didn't have to borrow any money.
That's awesome.
So that's wonderful. So that's behind us. And now our sewer still is in upgrade. And we've got money I hope it will finish us up.
Yeah, and something that's going to help out is you're working on possibly a residential expansion, I think, down there.
We've been blessed, and of course, people want to move to Ardmore in the location we're in. And if we had the sewer ready to go right now, they'd be all kind of houses built. And, of course, that turns into revenue for the city on the property tax.
Looking at these results, Mayor, it's a pretty much a 2-to-1 difference. 199 to 96 is pretty close to a 2-to-1 difference. You know, there has been the comptroller's report that came down. We're not going to go into detail about it. It will be in the paper next week, where Mark was down there covering y'all's meeting the other day, and I think that's the best way to cover it. But were you concerned that might affect where you got to today, whether it was going to affect your able to be reelected?
Yes, sir, because we was in a race, and when you race, you got to work as hard as you can because you don't know how the voters might respond.
Yes, sir.
So I was working hard, and then all of a sudden we got the report back, and then the TV station showed up and things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Worked through that, and I'm so humbled by the way the people reacted and still had faith in me that I would do it.
Yeah, it's almost got to be even a double justification because all what you've done over the last 4 years, you get the vote, but then this comes up and it gives people a reason not to vote for you. I guess if you think about it like that, you know, when something like that comes down, you know, some people you would be concerned, but they came out and they voted for you. So I just want to congratulate you on your win. Give you opportunity to say anything else you'd like to say to anybody before we.
I would like to say another thing to everybody because I have won re-election, and I know that people was on this side, that side, or whatnot.
Yes, sir.
But I'm a people for everybody in Ardmore, so I'm looking forward to continuing right on, and because they had a chance to look at it and what I had done in the past. And didn't think there was all that much in the report.
Yes, sir.
Made some mistakes, but it's nothing that will cause the city any severe damage.
And you learn.
And we're ready to move forward.
And you learn from mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
We all learn from them. I learn from them every day. And my wife makes sure I don't forget, right?
But yes, sir, and 2020 is a lot better. And as we go forward, things will go good.
Yes, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Congratulations. I'll see you down in Ardmore soon, buddy.
And before I get away, I just want to tell you, the people in Giles County, by being mayor, you put on certain committees and you have meetings in Pulaski. I've met a lot of good people.
Yep.
We've got along together good, and I look forward to continuing Ardmore and Giles County.
Yep. Man, yeah, let's keep them both going because what's good for Ardmore is good for Giles County and vice versa. So thank you, Mike.
You're correct. Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right, so we're going to take another break. I do have we don't have that final Bridgeforth box, which is what we're waiting on. So I'm going to get a couple more spots in. Wade's going to come back up here with me. Thank Mike Magnuson for being here. Thanks, JJ, for being here. We are at Kitchen 218. Everybody's kind of kicked out on us, but we're still here. If there's any candidates out there that want to come on with us, it's probably a good time to head this way if you're going to talk to us because when we get this Bridgeforth box, because we want to know who's going to win these Alderman race. That's really the only thing we're waiting on. We know Jerry Bryant's got his spot wrapped up. We feel like Tony Gentry's pretty solid. But that last seat, there's 4 people vying for it, and we need to see who it's going to be. So hang tight. We'll be back in just a few minutes here on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Hi, I'm Hagen Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161. If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
First Realty Group is first in community and school support. They love Giles County. They love Giles County students, and they love Giles County's athletes. For First Realty Group, connecting buyers and sellers goes hand in hand with supporting their neighbors, schools, teachers, local businesses, and organizations. First Realty Group also loves putting sold signs on their clients' properties. Let their friendly and knowledgeable agents help you get your own sold sign. Call 363-2644 and visit them at frg1.com.
Hi, this is J.J. Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. Regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. Visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
All right, Wade. Pulaski Citizen Live. We're here at Kitchen 218. There's plenty of room if you want to come in and grab something to eat. I mean, we had a crowd in here to start with. Everybody's kind of eased out, as I think a lot of these people were mainly concerned about that mayor's race for Pulaski, which J.J. Brinley has won. We had J.J. on just a minute ago.
Yep.
And he's just a little bit excited, and it hasn't sunk in on him yet that now he's the mayor, I don't think, but that'll come soon enough. And I'm proud for JJ. I'm proud for Mike Magnuson, who I haven't covered extensively. Mark does most of the Ardmore, but I've been able to cover Mike on some occasions, either in some of the stuff he does around the county as mayor of Ardmore, or going down there and covering their city council a couple times. And I appreciate Mike coming by, and congratulations to him as well. Thank Larry Worsham for coming by.
Yep.
Larry humble in defeat on this one, and JJ extremely humble towards his opponents in victory, as well as Mike Magnuson. And that's what I love. You talked about what you love about local politics. What I love about local politics is it really does show that we're all here together working on this little project, this little Giles County project together. And we may not agree, Right. There may be some contention on how we see things done. We all know we want Giles County to be better. We want Pulaski to be together. We want Ardmore to be better, and that's showing up in all this. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic night, honestly, and it was great to see the spectrum of candidates. Obviously, we're excited to see what a J.J. Brinley mayoral leadership will look like. So it was great to see that excitement that he presented. It was also great to see the other ends of the spectrum with Larry joining us.
Yeah.
And it was also really good to hear from Mike, too, to kind of – everybody got so focused on this Pulaski City election that you kind of lost a little track of what else maybe was going on in the community as well.
And you got to remember, Ardmore is the southern gateway to our county, and where it's located, there's a lot. I mean, everybody talks about how Giles County is going to grow. Well, that's where it's going to start.
Yep.
That's where down in Ardmore is where all this growth that we keep talking about from the stuff going on in Alabama, where all that's really going to start is Ardmore, and they're working hard, and Mike's working hard, and he was very appreciative of everybody's support. Just to go back over what we've got, where we are, believe me, y'all, I'm refreshing this email every 2 seconds just to see if we can get, because guess what? We've got one box.
They didn't forget about it, did they?
I almost want to send a text. I may, in matter of fact, I may do that while I'm talking here, just to kind of maybe just make sure that box is still out, and maybe it got just for kicks and giggles, I'll send out a text real quick here and make sure that it's still
just
coming.
Curious.
But anyway, I'm going to give you all the numbers here, what we have so far. From Carrie, by the way, Carrie Malone back in PCL headquarters tonight has given us the tallies that we have so far based on all that we have brought in. With everything reported except for the Bridgeforth box, Giles County will have liquor by the drink. Almost 2 to 2.5 to 1, really. J.J. Brinley is mayor, 1,017. Larry Worsham, 510. John Amelander, 43. There's not going to be enough in that other box to make a difference there. J.J. Brinley is the mayor, is the new Pulaski mayor. For the Pulaski Alderman, 3 spots, 6 people running for him. Jerry Bryant is an incumbent. He will return. He has 871, a big enough lead over anybody else that could catch him and go and push him out. So Jerry Bryant will be returning to the Pulaski City Council. Probably joining him at this point, unless something really big happens in this Bridgeforth box, it will be Tony Gentry.
Yep.
633 votes. That's still not enough to say for sure, so we're not going to say for sure.
Slam dunk.
But probably Tony Gentry and Jerry Bryant. Pat Miles holds the lead for that 3rd spot. There's 4 people vying for 1 spot. Pat Miles at 605. Janice Tucker, 545. Tammy Mathis at 539 and Tasha Williams at 535. Any one of those people could jump into that 3rd spot, and maybe one, or if number was right, could even jump up and take Tony's spot. So just hold tight, guys. We are holding on. I did send a text to see if that Bridgeforth box is going to come in. In the meantime, if you can't talk about anything else, you can talk about sports, right? So
You don't want me to break down the new college football playoff rankings by chance, do you?
We talked about that today, and since we're waiting, unless you've got something else that you think would be a better subject, you and I pretty much got it all figured out.
Well, yeah, as per usual, you and I have all the answers, but the rankings did come out while we were on air tonight. Kind of like we anticipated. You got Georgia back up to number 1 now. You got Ohio State, Michigan at 2 and 3. And here's the big controversy, which does have a local angle, of course. TCU jumps up to number 4. Tennessee falls from 1 to 5. Pretty big fall, but the good news is they were at 1. So if they were at 3 or 4, they're looking at falling major out of the picture there. Fall to 5. And then kind of the other team that's kind of just lurking is the Oregon Ducks. You could be looking at a situation where Tennessee and Oregon finish with the same record. Both losses soundly, despite the final score being a little closer, soundly to Georgia. And then what do? You kind of you and I maybe were just you really don't want to, as you know, if you put them on a neutral field, Tennessee probably, I think a lot of folks would agree, maybe the better team. But they're going to give that edge to a conference championship. And if Oregon, they would even have one more win by nature of playing in that conference championship game.
I think that
we're streaking toward controversy, partners, where we're getting at.
I think you and I boiled it down to TCU and LSU. And here's the deal. LSU wins out, they're in. And Georgia's in. Tennessee will not get in, right? LSU loses, they're out. TCU wins out, they're in. We know that Michigan or Ohio State's going to lose. Yep. That's going to put them down. And what you're going to end up with is if TCU and LSU both lose a game between now and the end of the year, I think Tennessee and Oregon both get in. But I think if one of those teams get out, one of that LSU or that TCU get put out, now you're going to have the Michigan-Ohio State loser, Tennessee and Oregon fighting for one spot. And it's going, Tennessee's got a good resume. Don't get me wrong.
There's no doubt.
Probably, other than the fact you're right, the Oregon would have an extra win. That might be enough to put them over the top. But, yeah, TCU and LSU hold all the cards. And Tennessee fans are going to have to root for Georgia, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, if LSU beats Georgia, I don't see how Tennessee gets in at all. I don't see them putting three SEC teams in that playoff, and
without some other craziness happening.
Right, and Georgia's not going to drop out losing the SEC champion unless it's a blowout or something. But Georgia's not going to get put out if LSU, if they lose, will completely fall out.
Yep.
And that will leave, and TCU's the other. I think those are the two wild cards in all this.
Worth noting, just in the interest of fairness or not accused of biasness, Alabama still in the top 10. They're number 9.
Yeah.
Although, obviously, they need LSU to lose, and then they need to win out. And then, obviously, if they got to the SEC championship game and you beat Georgia. The thing is, if you get to the SEC championship game with 2 losses and you beat an undefeated Georgia, I don't see how they could keep you out at that point. So, the door is basically slammed shut on Alabama, but it's still got a glimmer of daylight. And as you and I also discussed this afternoon, LSU is that true wild team. They could go out and beat Alabama last week, and then they could go out and lose to Arkansas this week.
That's what I was fixing to say. Yeah,
even with their best teams, they're prone to an upset.
That's all assuming that LSU gets the SEC championship game, it wins out. But you're right. They absolutely 100% could go to Arkansas, who just got beat by Liberty, by the way, and lose that game. Absolutely.
LSU's only favored by 3. On the road this week at Arkansas.
I've seen Arkansas do that to them before in the past, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. So, yeah, whoever Tennessee fans are, it used to be the Vols and whoever's playing Alabama. Well, it's the Vols and whoever's playing LSU right now for them.
Yep.
And but then if LSU does get beat, that brings Ole Miss back into the picture too.
Who is ranked 11th, but, yeah, they could skyrocket up the rankings if the cards fall their direction. If they win out and LSU drops one more game.
And they still got a little game against a team from Tuscaloosa.
Ole Miss plays Bama this week. They have Mississippi State still on the schedule, and they have Arkansas still remaining. So they got 3 really tough games.
Resume builders, though.
Yeah.
If you win them.
Obviously, it boils down to the end of the day. A lot of folks last week when the first batch of rankings came out, well, so-and-so should be ranked here. So-and-so should be ranked here. At the end of the day, if you win your games – it's almost impossible to keep you out. Tennessee fans were worried if they would be ranked, where they would be ranked 1 through 5.
I think they wound up about where they should have wound up. I mean, because it's all about. It's not about where you are right now. It's where you are at the end of the season, and you know that one of the teams ahead of you is going to get beat.
Yeah,
it's just. There's no way that because
Ohio State they're on a crash course.
They're on a crash course, and whoever comes out of that will be number 2. It'll be Georgia, Ohio State, or Michigan, and then like I said, TCU and whoever can get in if Georgia beats LSU, or if LSU loses before the end. Oregon and Tennessee, I feel like are the 2 teams that are the highest, because I feel like you're Ohio State. Yeah, I almost feel like if it's Ohio State that loses, they're going to fall in front of TCU and LSU just because they're Ohio State. But if it's Michigan that loses, they'll drop them behind them. I'm not a gambling man, but I'd be willing, if I had money, I'd bet it because just the way they treat Ohio State. And you being a Michigan fan know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm right there with you, partner. And for those that are tuning in, they may be wondering why you and I are. We do broadcast and we do talk football here at Kitchen 218, but it's on Wednesday nights with the Bobcat Coaches Show. But tonight, we're just kind of in no man's land trying to circle the wagons on some final
I promise y'all,
election results here.
I wouldn't be sitting here if I had that Bridgeforth box. I just went through my emails again, by the way, just to make sure that I haven't missed it. No Carrie's at home looking at her emails to make sure we haven't missed it. It is the only box that hasn't come in, and it holds the key to the answer that we're looking for. So I said it before, and I said it again. Unless they call and tell me that they're not going to get it in a reasonable amount of time, and I did send a text to make sure, and hopefully I'll get an answer. It is still coming soon. If there's some kind of problem with it we haven't heard, we're waiting on it. And that's why me and Wade are talking about college football, because we've talked about everything.
Well, one other political note, kind of a familiar name around here, just a county up to the north of us. There was a big mayoral race in Columbia also, and Chaz Mulder has secured re-election there.
All right.
That's kind of coming down the pipe. Rather kind of convincing win.
Chaz ran for DA or something like that, didn't he? Yeah,
ran for DA a couple years ago. Was defeated in that election, hopped into the mayor's seat. He's going to secure a second bid. Kind of the same margin that JJ won his election tonight. It was almost that 2-1. And we saw it kind of from the jump. From that early voting, Larry never just gained enough ground to really put a dent in JJ's.
Yeah, it's amazing sometimes, Wade, just how each box – a lot of times will fall right along. That early voting, just the percentages just hold.
Yep.
It's not always. And when it doesn't, it's really surprising, to be honest with you. Like you talked about in some of those county commission elections where we saw one person in a box, just one box, all of a sudden jump. But for the most part, when that early voting comes out, it generally holds steady. There are some times when it doesn't. But when you see that early voting box, and of course you never know when it's going to or not. So that's the reason why we do these things, because if it was just early voting, we could do that in 5 minutes. And if it was all then all be all, we wouldn't be worried about it. I'd like to see how many votes we've got total this time. I had guessed it was going to be around 6,000 to 6,500. And I tell you what, when we take a break, I'll do a little math here. I promise I'll leave my shoes and socks on for tonight. But let's take a little break. Hopefully, we're going to get these numbers in pretty quick, or hear that they're not coming in, so we can let
either that or we're going to get the kitchen staff.
I know people are looking and wanting to know. That I've got people texting me, are y'all not even going to talk about the Alderman race anymore? Well, yeah, we're talking about it. Jerry Bryant is going to be an Alderman. Tony Gentry most likely going to be an Alderman. And Tim and Pat Miles holds the third spot right now, but that third spot is wide open as far as I'm concerned with this Bridgeforth box hanging out there. If everything holds as it has, it will.
One other political note, tightly contested race in Georgia involving, speaking of college football, Herschel Walker narrowly leads. 72% of your precincts are reporting and has not been called yet. Talk about a razor-thin margin. 49.5% of the vote going to Herschel at the moment. Mr. Warnock garnering 48.6. So you're talking less than 1% with 72% reporting. Don't have much more information than that, but it is tight.
That's pretty interesting because right as we were about to start this, or just before we started, I was watching that. The polls had just closed. There was like 20% in, and Warnock had like a 14-point lead percentage-wise. And I was talking to mayoral candidate John Amlander here, and he's like, that's not good. I said, well, it just depends on how many of those rural counties have come in and voted, because those rural counties in Georgia are red. I mean, just as red as they could be. But
not a light shade of red.
No, they're like Alabama red or Georgia red.
Yes, sir.
They're red. So I said, maybe those haven't come in, and it seems like maybe that was right, because now it looks like Herschel was able to make up that 14-point lead and some, barely and some, but and some. So that one right there won't be decided tonight.
Yeah.
They won't be able to call that one tonight if it's that close. There's several others. Maybe while we're on the break, if we don't get any information, we can dig into maybe a couple others. Everybody talked about the Oz and Fetterman race and a couple other races floating around out there. Really, I'm most interested in seeing what the Senate does. I think there's no doubt the House is going to flip to the Republicans. I think that's been a foregone conclusion for a while now. But what about the Senate? And we'll maybe try to dig into that a little bit. Hopefully by the time we get back, we'll have the Bridgeforth box. But fingers crossed, we'll be back in a few minutes on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Hi, this is JJ Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Hi, I'm Hagan Haney, and I wanted to tell you about Haney Realty and Property Management. It's my dad's business, but he has a lot of really nice and smart people who work with him. When people want to sell or buy a house or some land, they call my dad and his friends at Haney Realty and Property Management. It must be a lot of fun because every time I see them, they're smiling. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in real estate. Give them a call at 347-9150.
If you're looking to spread the word, look no further than Holley's Printing, where Giles Countyans have been printing for more than 60 years. Signs, banners, wall graphics, auto graphics, window clings, and more. Holley's Printing will help you get the word out in style with custom services and installation. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Let Holley's Printing make you look good in print. Call 931-363-3161.
M&M Staffing, LLC is Giles County's locally owned staffing agency. Owner John Braden Harper, Cree Holt, and Mercedes Houston are from Giles County. They know Giles County and they care about this community. M&M Staffing supports local schools, athletes, organizations, and causes. When you're looking for your next career or looking to fill a position, look no further than your locally owned business, M&M Staffing. Find us on Facebook, 450 Bennett Drive, or fill out an application online at mnmstaffing.net.
First Realty Group is first in community and school support. They love Giles County. They love Giles County students, and they love Giles County's athletes. For First Realty Group, connecting buyers and sellers goes hand in hand with supporting their neighbors, schools, teachers, local businesses, and organizations. First Realty Group also loves putting sold signs on their clients' properties. Let their friendly and knowledgeable agents help you get your own sold sign. Call 363-2644 and visit them at frg1.com. First.
Hi, this is JJ Brinley. I'm a candidate for mayor of Pulaski. I humbly ask you for your support and vote in the November 8th election. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect J.J. Brinley. Sarah W. Reese, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. Regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. Visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
All right, we made a call to the election office. That box that actually came in quite a bit ago we hadn't received it, and I'm told we're going to get it here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
So it really is not the last. I mean, it's the last box we're getting, but I think it was in pretty early, and I'm glad I made that phone call, Wade, because I'm afraid you and I would have been sitting here all night waiting for that box to come in.
There's only so much college football we could have talked about too, partner.
Did you get a chance to look up any of the other races or anything?
I was kind of eavesdropping on you guys on the phone there, but let's see if I can spin around here.
All right. So the latest update is you're doing that. Jerry Bryant leads 871. Tony Gentry 633. Pat Miles 605. 545 for Janice Tucker. Marks Tucker. Tammy Mathis 539. Tasha Williams 535. That's the race we're waiting on. J.J. Brinley wins 1,017 with a box still out, by the way. 1,017 votes. 510 for Larry Worsham and 43 for John Amlander. On the Ardmore Mayor's race, Wayne Harville had 22. Mike Magnuson had 42. If you're just getting to us here, we did talk to J.J. Brinley. We talked to Larry Worsham. We've talked to Mike Magnuson. Whenever we get done, this will be live or will be recorded and on demand for you here on our Pulaski Citizen YouTube channel. So, and just a programming note, let everybody know what's going on. We talked about it earlier, but in case you're not around, you weren't around to hear that. By the way, let me stop right there. Somebody's asking me if liquor by the drink passed. Yes, it did pass. So I'm sorry, that did pass. So programming note tomorrow. Oh, never mind. Ding, ding, ding.
Jackpot.
That's what we've been looking for all day long, right? All right. So I'm going to pull up these numbers I've got for these guys because we're going to have to do a little math on the spot here. As we go. So we know on the mayor's race, J.J. Brinley had 262, Larry Worsham 76, John Amlander 18. All right, here we go for the race for Alderman of the city of Pulaski. Jerry Bryant 149, Tony Gentry 209, 74 for Tammy Mathis, 107 for Pat Miles, and here's the number that's going to make this difference. Janice Marks Tucker, 198 in the Bridgeforth Middle School box. 92 for Tasha Williams. Real fast. Let me do just some real quick addition here. So we can go ahead and let you know that Jerry Bryant, Tony Gentry have both been elected because Tony won that box, and he may actually end up catching Jerry. I was
going to say, get close to that overall lead
he may
right
end
there.
Up catching Jerry. I don't think he will, but anyway, Jerry Bryant, 871, 871 plus 149. His total is 1,020. All right. Tony Gentry was at 633. Add the 209. His number is, that's not it, 633 plus 209. His total is 842. That's your two top vote getters. Those two guys win. Pat Miles was at 605, okay? And we add to Pat's 605 the 107, and that gives her 712. Write that down. 712 for Pat. And then Janice Marks Tucker had 545, and add to that 198, and that's 743. Now, I don't think the other two are going to catch them, but let me just make sure. It looks like Janice Marks Tucker is going to be the one.
Snuck in there.
539 for Tammy Mathis plus 74 comes up to 613. 535 for Tasha Williams plus 92 comes up to 627. So, based on these numbers, and this is not official, they will certify on November the 23rd. Based on these numbers, your three aldermen for Pulaski that we've been waiting to get this race, and what a tight race this was. Jerry Bryant, 1,000 and, 20 or so, 1,020. Tony Gentry, 700, 800, and what was his? Did you write all those down?
I'm scrambling them down as best I can. I don't have that one right in front of me, partner.
All right, wait a minute. Carrie's texting me. Maybe she's got it all done. Yeah, she's got it right here. So the finals are Jerry Bryant 926. I'm sorry. Okay. Tony Gentry 719. Oh, I take that back. I've said Janet Mark, but Carrie's numbers have Janice Marks Tucker at 639 and Pat Miles at 641. So I may be adding the wrong numbers up here, but the totals that Carrie's got and her numbers are better than mine because we're trying to do it on the fly. So right now, and we may have to sign off with it like this and come back and definitely, once we know for sure where we're at, we'll definitely report it on WKSR. Report it on Pulaski Citizen Live.
Yep.
In the Pulaski Citizen, you knew that was coming.
Freudian slip.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you can't do that for 20 years and then forget it, right?
Yep, exactly.
So 926 for Jerry Bryant, 719 for Tony Gentry. Pat Miles has 641. Janice Marks Tucker 639. I'm assuming we're going to get some totals from the election commission coming up. Usually we get them at the end of the evening. I'll call and find out for sure. We're going to leave it like that, Wade. It looks like
by 2 votes.
By 2 votes, Pat Miles squeaked into that last seat. But I would like to wait. I'm not saying that I don't want that to happen. I'm just saying I don't know. I'd like to recheck our numbers.
At this point, yeah.
And we're not going to be able to recheck them live on the air. So at this point, Jerry Bryant, Tony Gentry, Pat Miles. At this point.
And when you're talking about that razor thin of a margin, you're almost dabbling in the realm of a recount potentially.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
I don't know what entails there, but that's pretty close. Mayor of Pulaski, J.J. Brinley, Larry Worsham second, John Amler third. Mike Magnuson wins Ardmore. The liquor by the drink passes, and I refer you to your favorite news channel for everything else. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Sorry it took us so long to get this done. I was expecting to be done earlier than now, but that's the way elections go. I've done it a few times, and this was 10 o'clock. I would have given a lot of good money to get out by 10 o'clock on some of these things.
There's no doubt about it, my friend.
Thank you, Wade. Thank you to the folks that stopped by. Thank you to Kitchen 218. Always accommodating and great.
Yes.
That's why we love to come down here. Don't forget to check Wade and them out with the Coaches Show right back here tomorrow, Bobcat Coaches Show. Don't forget that we have Veterans Day coming up Friday. We'll have the parade on Pulaski Citizen Live. We'll have the ceremony on Pulaski Citizen Live. I encourage you to come out for it if you can get here. Thank you guys that you've been listening to Election Night coverage on Pulaski Citizen Live.